The bigger issue with watching so many movies is the fact that you can never select upon a single choice.
Yeah,
The
I
first,
told him to
yeah,
select, give me single choices because I was like,
the
none of, I
first
can't
list I
fit all of it
sent,
on my
Dhruv had
list.
every category had two choices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
that's
Aditya and Devi gave me multiple choices, I think. No, I think Devi gave me only three for honorable mentions, and I was like,
Yeah.
usme bhi I'll only choose two. So,
True.
you
Yeah, I
know,
yeah,
can see
because,
that.
no, but I think your third one was anyways overlapping with one of ours. So I think it's
I
okay.
think Aditya chose luck
Huh.
for
Yes,
me.
yes, yes.
hmm,
But anyways, I mean, there's a lot of movies to talk, like, recommend and all that. For the post, maybe I'll do something where I curate all the titles in some ways where, all of them become recommendations. Let me
hmm.
think of how to come up with it. But anyways, okay, let's start.
जादू मंतर जादू मंतर जादू मंतर You are going into the future.
You talking to me?
They always be the scene closing.
என் பேர் மாணிக்கம் எனக்கு இன்னொரு பேர் இருக்கு
Talking to me?
Queen is dead. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to today's annual episode, I think, because we do it every year around the end of July slash beginning of August, which is our best of the year so far lists or sort of, movie recommendations essentially, where we talk about the films we actually really liked throughout 2024. This is the first year we've started live streaming, so you've probably heard us talk a lot of shit about movies that released in 2024. But
That's the year's problem. That's not our
no, no,
problem. The
I know,
year
no,
is
no.
bad. The
Yes,
year
that
is
is
very
true,
bad.
especially
Yeah.
because we also talk consistently about Bollywood, and
Hmm.
they usually churn out Drudge. Or how was the reception of? Sorry, we are recording this on the day or on the weekend when Ulaj, a movie starring Janvi Kapoor and
Gulshan Devaya.
yes, that has come out, and I think that's come out and has been forgotten already in the span of three
Both
days.
the movies that have come out this week have been forgotten already because
What is the
both of
second
them are
movie?
trash. Auro mein dot dum kaha or
Oh my
something like
God, that
yes,
Neeraj
the
Pandey
Neeraj Pandey
romance.
romantic movie, which is utter trash apparently. I'm like,
That's
okay,
Ajay
then.
Devgan, Tabu.
Yes.
I mean,
Mm.
they are apparently not even the main people in the movie. It's
Yeah,
Oh
the
the
my
main
younger
God.
couple.
story, the main story are the flashback का actors. That is the main
Wait.
story. I'm like, क्या bait and switch है? कोई कौन
Yeah.
देखने जाएगा? क्या
Which
bait and
film is
switch?
Oh my God. Oh my
औरों में
God.
कितना है? What?
औरों
यही ना?
में औरों में और दम
This
कहा
is this is
whatever the
like the तेरी
line है.
बातों में ऐसा उलझा. Like, why would you keep a title like that? No one can pronounce it. Like, it's like a tongue twister
At least
almost.
तेरी बातों में ऐसे उलझा जिया का song is catchy. That is
That
the
is
one
true.
good thing.
That
Yes.
that AI wala Kirti Sanon movie, right?
Yes, yes. She is the
Uh,
Indian her,
oh,
Bollywood her. Sorry.
oh, that is Shahid Kapoor and
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is not Bollywood her. Her is too good of a movie to categorize it with that. That is
I
more
just
like
wanted to.
that is Karishma ka Hindi movie version basically. Anybody
I just
remember Karishma ka Karishma?
yeah.
I just
Yes.
wanted to rile you up. That is
Yes.
my only
But
objective.
that
That is the
makes
But
worst movie
Tamil.
of this year. Three
so
of
we
the
are
Oh,
not
worst.
doing that episode.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
all
okay.
about positivity, right? Which is
You
Okay.
are
weird.
the one who
It's
brought it
so
up.
weird for me to say it's all about positivity. I'm just like, it suits me. Like the person it suits the least, I think, is myself. But anyways, we are in this episode talking about all the films we loved in this year. I think we'll have films that someone loved who others didn't like that much, but we'll get to that whenever
I
that
think
comes
that's
through.
just you.
No, no, you are also there in that. But anyways, so we've decided to before actually telling us the format, telling people the format. I think you've already heard the voices of the people who are part of this panel. So we have Amartya, Adityan, and Devi.
I
All of them have come on our podcast before. Live stream pe Adityan has come before. Amartya and me basically are the only two people who come on the live
Mm.
stream. We'll probably be the only
Because
two
none of us
people
have,
for.
because none of us have lives. We basically
I have
try
a
to do
life,
this.
okay.
Uh,
But I just prefer to do this life better. Like I like this
Yes.
online life better than my
Uh,
life. So,
mm.
you know,
मतलब
it's
वही
just
ना, मेरा लाइफ भी कुछ अच्छा नहीं है, मेरा लाइफ भी ऐसा
so
ही
we
है.
we prefer to basically talk shit about. Actually, we are talking good stuff even tomorrow in our live stream, so it's fine.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyways,
true, true.
please listen to the other episodes we've talked. Like some of the movies which we'll be mentioning in this episode, we've already talked about. So I'll plug those episodes a little bit when we are talking about those.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think so. Just before we sort of start talking about the best of list, we are, by the way, the best of the list is every form of cinema. So it's essentially Bollywood, Hollywood, whatever would, whatever, like, international cinema, etc., etc. There's no
Tollywood,
limits.
both Telugu and Bengali, Mollywood, that is
Everything.
Malayalam, जो भी wood है
So
सब.
you'll get a diverse
Yes.
selection of films. Most of these are available to watch also. So none of us are like, doing the film critic snobby thing
None of
of.
us, yeah, none of us is snob enough कि सिर्फ फेस्टिवल में देखा है इसलिए इसको recommend कर रहे हैं, वैसा
Exactly. So
कुछ
we are
नहीं है.
not, either we are not including those films, or either we have chosen, we don't like those films. So
Yeah,
yeah,
more likely
eh,
the second part, yeah.
okay, that's only for Amartya. Okay,
Yeah.
that's we are not including myself in that category. I do really like that movie, but fine. But yeah, we've decided to sort of switch up the way we discuss these. I think the last times we've done that is basically like a top five or top three or four for each of the people in the
Mm-hmm.
panel. But this time we've sort of split it up into different categories so that we can maybe talk about specifics that we loved about uh, this particular film, the particular people responsible for that category. I think because when we talk about films, we often talk about the big picture, but as opposed to the people who are working under, they don't get mentioned all the time. So I think this way maybe we can talk about specifics more, and you'll probably get a wider variety of films also. I think just because we've selected or tried to select different people, of course, whoever we liked for each of the categories. So basically we have 8 categories, well, seven really, but like the eighth is sort of a honorable mention sort of thing. But it's basically our favorite performance. So this is the order we'll be going in, which is our favorite performance, screenplay, music, cinematography, editing, direction, and then honorable mentions, and then picture. So basically, you'll get four for each of these. And if there are some films which all of us have seen, so we'll be discussing those. I think we'll try to skirt around spoilers even in those films, but there are some films which all of us have seen, which is Autumn, Merry Christmas. So this is sort of a hint of that these films will be appearing in this list. Autumn, Merry Christmas, and Challengers. I think these are the three films that all four of us have seen here. Or there's one more also maybe, but I'll basically flag it up whenever we are talking about. Avesham is the fourth one, which we all of us have seen. So yeah, I'll be going through these different categories, and we'll begin with Adityan, then go to Devi, then Amartya, and then myself, and then we'll talk about all of them. So we'll begin with best performance or favorite performance, not best, for each of us. So Adityan, your choice is what?
This is my choice is actually I first thought of including Fagad Fazil from Avesham and Autumn Ensemble, but as
Yes.
we all had in common, so
Hmm.
I picked something different and something that attracted me recently, very recently.
Hmm.
So I watched Paradise, a Sri Lankan Indian film,
Yeah.
Sri Lankan Indian produced film. This film recently I saw it in Pondicherry Film Festival,
Yeah.
International Film Festival exclusive screening. So the performance that everyone it was a minimal drama to give context to the people. It's
Hmm.
basically set in 2022 economic crisis, Sri Lankan economic crisis, where Sri Lankan economic crisis, where where a couple from India comes for a tour,
Hmm.
and one of them is then the couple is nothing but Roshan Matthews and
Darshana Rajendran, right? Yeah.
Darshana
Yeah.
Rajendran characters.
Hmm.
So what they stay in a cottage. One fine night, what happens is that the thieves come and stole their things,
Hmm.
steal their things, and at that same time itself, Roshan Matthews gets a project greenlighted by Netflix. So he has no laptop, he has no things. So
Hmm.
basically, they are approaching the police for the case, and
Sure.
the police, after 2 hours, they present the suspects that three Tamil people stole their
Sure.
things. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, things go a little haywire based on how all the domino effect, like the political situation, the
Sounds like
socio-economic,
Artem a little bit in
a
terms of
little bit.
in terms of one incident, sort of,
Yeah,
tail
yeah,
spinning everything, sort of
tail
in
spinning
within.
everything, and that booms up into, you got a mythological layer into it, and you got a socio-political layer into it, and
Hmm.
how it, just like Anatomy of Fall, how all
Okay,
the
yeah.
socio-political,
Hmm.
economic thing all collide into their deepening the crevases in their relationship.
Sure.
Just like that, the tension is there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want to reveal anything, but I
Yep.
love the character of Sham Fernando. Is the actor name is Sham Fernando. He
Okay.
portrayed this role of Mr. Andrew.
Okay.
He's the tourist guide of the both the leads the leads. He
Yeah.
comes along with them. He actually guides for Ramayana tour actually. Basically, you have the
Okay.
Sri Lanka. You have the Ramayana tour circuit where they guide you to places based on the myth of Ramayana
Okay.
epic.
Hmm.
So the character was pretty fascinating to say. The performance was something, something subtle, something minimal for the film. I
Hmm.
mean, everyone did a great job, but
Hmm.
I felt that character was something interesting for me because he's the character is something like he doesn't have a own thought of him. He always agrees with what the guests say. He always agrees with what even they say anything wrong also against their country also. He's like, okay, fine. He's like, okay, fine.
Got it.
And he himself, he's too self-aware of the fact that in one of the scenes, he says to the character Darshana that I also benefit from the way I tell Ramayana for my living. He
Okay.
says, just like he mentions how the very livelihood is depend on this epic itself, and how people spin their own versions of the tale, and
Got it.
and what and even but and Darshana also says that exchange was pretty good. That exchange of conversation was great actually.
Sure.
And at the end, there was
Don't
a twist.
spoil. Sorry, I'm just
No
saying
spoiler.
the
No,
star. Yeah.
yeah, no spoilers actually. So at the end, you get a major revelation. I mean, you get a subtle. He has a subtle expressions only. He doesn't show
Hmm.
any expressions. He doesn't, not the over the top reactions. He doesn't give. But
Yeah.
at the end, he himself gets a conscience. That's
Sure.
something. That's something really amazing. I don't want to spoil anything.
Sure.
It's released now in Amazon Prime right now. So
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
do check it out. It's some
It's 90
amazing film. I would
minutes. Yes.
90 minutes, pakka
Yes.
90 minutes, and
Yes.
even
More
the
90
director,
minute movies, please. For the love of God.
yeah,
Yes.
it was too solid of a film, I would
Sure.
say. Maybe the ending might be a bit cryptic for a few, but
Sure.
even I felt, but after talking with the director himself, that's
Hmm.
pretty, I got some clarity with this,
Sure.
because he wanted to make something on the lines of Robert Bresson, Godard. So that's
Wow.
why. So
Okay then.
I did
I
not
mean, I mean,
expect
I mean, I
French
mean,
film comparisons to come through, but yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
he said, I mean,
No,
he
that's
said, the
fine. That's
the
okay.
minimalism,
Which translates to the acting also, you said, right? A
yeah,
little bit to,
acting,
yeah.
everything, the
Okay.
editing too, you would be amazed. So
Okay. Okay.
you would
Perfect.
be
Okay.
amazed.
So
So,
that's,
okay,
so that's Sham Fernando, right? From,
Sam Fernando.
This is the place that King Ravana lived and he is also buried. Many believe that he did not die, but he is in a slumber. And one day he will wake up and save Sri Lanka.
I had Darshana Rajendran written for some reason for Adityan, because I
Uh,
assumed that was the book, because I had heard a lot of praise for her for Paradise
yeah,
already.
she's just fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, how she does every role in a fantastic way. I don't know, man. She's just
Sure. Yeah.
She was the
amazing of an
best
actor.
part of that movie called Hridayam. So,
Okay.
Hridayam also, she did a great job.
she did
Yeah.
fantastic in Hridayam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great of an actor. Great of an
Mm.
actor. Not gonna
Devi,
lie.
you have,
Yeah.
what is your sort of favorite?
So I have selected Urvashi for Ullolukka.
Yeah.
I love the film also, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a very she's one of the greatest artists I've seen.
Hmm.
and she has consistently performed in come to the 80s and 90s Malayalam. She started acting at
Hmm.
a very young age, and she has been very consistent as a performer.
Sure.
I absolutely love that about her. And
Yeah.
even here, I mean, once she comes in the frame, it's very
Hmm.
difficult to concentrate on the other person. Something is,
Parvati is there, no? In this?
yes,
Parvati, yeah.
Parvati.
Yeah.
She has also done a very good job.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
uh, such is the, how do you say, that's usually it's something that you associate with actors, like you have the very commanding presence, like
Yeah.
how Fahad, Aditya was telling about Fahad in Avesham.
Avisham. Hmm.
Very, very commanding presence. So you immediately, if you think of performance, suddenly you'll go to that person.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
that happens here also. I couldn't think of anyone else because she was so good. She was so,
Hmm.
and she does it all so effortlessly. It's something that in Malayalam cinema, that you compare Mohanlal with, oh, such effortless performance. She's
Hmm.
a natural. So all
Mhm.
these terms that you associate with him,
Mhm.
she is one such actress.
അടുത്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് എനിക്ക് ഇവിടെ നിൽക്കാൻ വയ്യ വച്ചേ
നിനക്കിഷ്ടമുള്ളടത്ത് നിനക്ക് പോവാം എൻ്റെ മോൻ്റെ കുഞ്ഞിനെ എനിക്ക് വേണം.
Yeah.
And it's actually so delightful to see some films that are like female centric films that has some kind of substance.
Sure.
Like this year we had Lapata. I don't know if it counts as this year or
No, no, it is this year. It
Lapata
is this
Ladies
year.
is this year. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very
This year,
surprised
this year.
none of you have it because everyone seems to love that movie beyond
I
belief.
love
So,
love that too.
yeah, yeah, I'm surprised none of
even
you
I
have it.
even
Hmm.
I love that
I
film.
like it. I
Yes.
like it. It's quite
Hmm.
good. Yeah, but
Okay,
And
we'll
even
mention it somewhere, I think. But you were saying only, I think that
yeah.
that has some great performances also, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I'm just mentioning, since I
Mhm.
selected Ullurka, I was just
Hmm.
thinking about all the other films, and even I'm waiting for the Kani Kusirdi one, the All We Imagine as Light.
all we imagine.
I
One
want
of
to
us has
watch
seen
that
in
also.
this panel. One of us has seen it.
So
Dhruv
see,
has seen it.
the
Yes.
simple. So
Yeah.
I have not included that in my list here because firstly, it's not available to watch yet. But I
So
would have maybe had it in cinematography. I mean, I really like the movie, though. I mean, I don't think so. So just to, and actually, I won't spoil it. But I was about to respond to Devi saying that what movie she thinks is my favorite
okay.
will still be my favorite if
Oh.
I was including it in my list.
Okay.
That way.
Okay. All right.
But anyways, should I move
So
on to Amartya? We can. That's
so
another
I'll
female
just
performer. Huh, bolo.
No, no,
Sorry,
let her
yeah.
Devi. You
finish.
complete.
I'll
Yeah.
just give a short. Should I give? I don't know, because about the film. Should I give
No,
a
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
give,
Please,
give. Yeah,
please.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
please do.
Please.
It's on. Where is it available
It's
to
on
watch?
Prime
Prime,
only,
Prime,
right?
Prime.
Prime?
Prime.
Prime.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
recently released. Yeah, I
It
think
released,
Recently.
I
a
think,
day
2 or
back.
3 day or 2
Sure.
days back.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Okay.
I haven't seen it. I mean,
Yeah.
Paradise and this movie I haven't seen. I need to see
I
those
didn't
two.
know that Paradise released, and only when
Paradise dropped
Adityan
out
said,
of nowhere. Paradise
yeah,
dropped out of nowhere. It was like
No
otherwise I would
publicity
have
and
seen.
everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
Actually, it was surprising that I finished watching the film after the film festival, and I opened up Amazon Prime and chose Paradise out of nowhere. What?
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
probably they just released it. Yeah. Yeah, but you were saying
The
about
film
the
festival
movie
was
itself.
free, right, Adityan?
Yeah,
This
free,
is
free, yeah,
yeah.
free,
Okay,
free,
good,
free.
good, good. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, no, you were
So
saying, Devi. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
it's
can do.
it's the premise is just that there is a very like chronically ill person, a husband, and
Hmm.
he dies.
Hmm.
The but they are not able to bury him because of the floods.
Sure.
the
Hmm.
So
2018 floods, right?
Hmm.
it's not. I don't think it is 20.
Unspecified?
Not sure. No, no, it's not
Okay.
because the area is such. It's it's somewhere near to Kuttanad, Alappuzha. So
Okay,
it's a common phenomenon there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
okay, okay,
Got
okay.
it.
So
Hmm.
they are
Mhm.
not able to bury him. There's constant rain. So such is the atmosphere.
Hmm.
And the entire film is actually somewhere limited to that one home
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
spaces. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you constantly see them in water. They're half like
Amazing.
they're standing, they're sitting. It's so there is this discomfort.
Is it
And
like a
then
disaster movie, or is it more
no,
like
it is not.
just a
No, it's just
drama
a.
proper?
It
Okay.
is a drama. But
Sure.
so Parvati plays the daughter-in-law, and
Hmm.
she is the mother-in-law.
Hmm.
Urvashi is the
Ushu.
mother.
Hmm.
So it's like, but how complex things are, as you move through the film is when things open up.
But
in
the
the
relation,
way,
basically about their relationship.
basically about their
Sure.
relationships, and how in that sense it's also like how autumn opens up.
Sure.
It slowly opens up things, and I
Sure.
like that pace also. And
Yeah.
also one more thing I really loved about the film is it's so intense and it plays so much with your emotions, but it
Mhm.
doesn't go into that melodramatic
Me-
attitude.
mhm.
It's
Sure.
something, when you put in a female, it's something that happens automatically, or it's
Yeah.
how the writing is, suddenly it gets into that, so it doesn't go overboard at all.
Sure.
He
Got it.
maintains that tone. He maintains. So I absolutely loved it, and she did a I mean, she was amazing in that.
Yep. Yeah.
You should watch
To Okay, we will watch it, and everyone who's listening hopefully is also either has watched it or is
it.
going to watch
The
it.
director has done a Netflix crime documentary. I think
Okay.
maybe you have
Curry and Cyanide. Curry and
Curry
Cyanide.
and Cyanide.
I've
Ah,
not
that
seen.
that documentary. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That documentary had the tone of disdain in that. Have you seen it?
Well,
It's from the
see,
same director.
मेरा voice वैसे भी tinged with disdain हमेशा रहता ही है at this point. It's like क्या ही बोले.
No,
No,
but
but
you have to be positive about the
Korean
next time.
Cyanide was legitimately one of those very popular documentaries that even I hadn't seen, and which is like I have heard that the documentary is famous for the subject matter itself, not for the
Yes, yes.
documentary
The
overall.
making, which is
Subject matter,
the
yeah.
But
most documentaries are like
but the
that only, though
making
I
is
feel.
also, I mean,
Oh, it's
I
a good.
personally liked it.
Sure.
And
Okay, okay.
even in Ullurukku, you see that flood, he utilizes it so beautifully. It's somewhere,
Sure.
it's a premise. I mean, I heard in an interview where you were saying that it's also a premise, it's a character, and it's also something that drives, the film. Like everyone is trapped in that situation.
Sure.
Everyone is then, and
Yeah.
everyone has their own sets of secret, and everyone is moving. Uh, I mean, they are prioritizing themselves over
Sure.
everything else.
Okay, okay.
So is it
Eventually,
so it's like a drama as a thriller? That's the sort of
in a
dramatized,
sense, yeah, in a sense, it is
which is what
thrilling.
Atom I think is, which is
Yes,
what
correct,
Asghar
correct.
Farhadi films are like to me. So
That's what.
yeah,
Yeah.
Autumn
yeah.
is a perfect example of
Atom
a
is
film
more
like.
like anxiety. Atom is like
Huh.
a drama with
Asghar Farhadi.
yeah.
Farhadi is the
Farhadi
if
film.
he's the template
Farhadi.
that Malayalam cinema are going for, go for it all the
Go
time,
for it,
please.
go for it.
'Cause he's
I don't know what Malayalam cinema's entire template is at
no,
this
it's
point
probably
because it's
much more diverse, of
it's
course, because
very
it's going to be
diverse,
there.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think I think one of those things which I think many of us have started to identify, and this is why we are drawing towards Malayalam cinema, is the fact that they are fearless, right?
Yeah.
You are taking into account like what Devi describes, what like the movie, at least to me, it sounds like it's taking the disaster area as the overall, how do I say, the substrate,
Yeah.
but within that disaster area, it is putting a drama and it
Yeah.
is exploring the humans within that drama. It is not
Correct.
exploring the disaster as a
Was
overall macrocosm and showing
I
that.
think it's not a like I think they've at least some films in Malayalam cinema, or most in fact, maybe I'm not wrong. So correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But this idea of spectacle maybe comes underneath character right now, or the spectacular. Is it because I think that the spectacle element is what I think Bollywood wants to drive at. They don't have people who can emphasize it properly. That's a separate matter altogether. But
Bollywood has the money to focus on the spectacle, but yeah, but they don't have the directors capable enough to drive that
yeah.
spectacle through.
Yeah.
That's the bigger issue.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll not get to that, considering we're not dissing Bollywood today, mostly.
Mostly.
But no, you go ahead, Amartya. We are going from one strong female performance, I suppose, whatever that means. Actually, that sounds a very like a cliched term. But anyways, we're going from one female performance to another female performance. So yes, go ahead,
Yeah.
say your
So I think
interesting
performance.
choice, by the way. I mean, not interesting, as in like great choice actually.
I think the performance-wise, the easiest mark would have been to choose Fahad Fazil's performance in Avisham, but I
Yeah.
think that performance is driving the entire movie throughout, to the
Yeah.
extent that performance almost overwhelms the entire perspective of the movie. Again, that is my opinion.
Yes.
I know there are
You can listen to
fans.
our great
Yeah.
episode on Malayalam Cinema Roundup Part 2 with
Yes.
Amartya, Devi, and Sanjeet, who talked about Premalu and Avisham in detail. Yes. So,
Yeah,
anyways,
so
I'm done. Yeah.
it would have been an easy choice, but again, because I know that some of us we will obviously talk about this movie because that movie is because Fahad's performance is actually worth talking about.
Yep.
But I chose a very very studio driven movie, and it's a very populist movie. But I also chose it because the performance as well as the movie's quality is unlike any populist Hollywood
Sure.
movie that has been released this year.
Yeah.
It is Akasha Stevenson's The First Omen.
Yeah. This is a horror film.
This is a horror film. This is a prequel. The only weakness of this movie is the fact that it is a prequel. Other
Yeah.
than that, this movie is tremendous. It is
Yeah, great director
it
showcase
is
also.
fantastically directed. It is
Yeah.
so good.
Mm.
The fact that you are taking into account the birth of the Antichrist and then interweaving in the actual political unrest of that era,
Yeah.
and actually interweaving it very well and utilizing it to highlight the horror of the narrative even more.
Yeah.
That is extremely well done. And just some of the directorial choices are
Yeah.
just amazing.
She will be making
But she
some
will be
next
making
horror
waves.
project, whatever.
Yeah,
Yes.
she'll be
So
making waves, amazing waves.
maybe
But
she'll be making the next A24 horror film.
okay.
Sorry.
But
Go ahead.
yeah, but the performance I would like to talk about is Nell Tiger Free, who plays the lead in this
Yeah.
movie. Nell Tiger Free is a familiar face for anybody who has seen horror. She was the lead in Apple TV Plus's TV show named Servant, which was executive produced by.
Oh,
It was
the guy
executive
whose movie is
produced.
out right now.
Yeah, it was executive produced by M. Night Shyamalan, and there are some episodes which have been directed by his daughter. So, and that movie, that show is very weird because it is Shyamalan. It is quite weird, but
also unnecessarily runs for 3-4 seasons.
yes, unnecessarily is running for 3 seasons when it should have ended at 2. But the one thing you will never hear from me saying is the fact that Nell Tiger Free shouldn't be in the show because she is the actual selling point of the show.
She's the weird person, right?
She is the weird person, but she's she's so good. She's the final girl, quote unquote, but she's a fantastic final girl.
Yeah.
And in The First Omen, she is flitting between weird to vulnerable to terrifying in equal measure and in such quick succession that you will get a whiplash. She's in perfect control in every second.
Yeah.
And each and every time you're following her, you as the audience, you are invested in her. And that is why when the horrors are occurring to her, you are much more invested, you're much more completely in the thrall of the movie's rhythm because of her.
Yeah.
There is a sequence in, I think it is in Rome, in that, that crowd sequence in which the people kind of morph into the monsters, quote unquote, and are almost trying to,
I'm sorry, I'm lifting my head and trying to think what that is.
Almost trying to assault her. The people are morphing into monsters because that's what she's imagining.
Yes.
It is a terrifying sequence, but it is made even more terrifying by her own expression of horror in it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a fantastic performance, and it just
she also
stuck with me.
gets her possession moment.
Courtesy
Like
Isabella
classic
Adjani.
horror film, Possession by Andrew Zhawowski.
Andrew Zolowski.
She gets her proper full body horror moment.
Full body horror moment. If you guys don't know what we are talking about, you can just
you can
look
watch
up
the
in YouTube.
Possession. You can search up Possession subway scene and then have fun with that.
Just watch Possession subway scene.
Do not eat anything while or whatever. Yes,
please don't.
Yes.
And Nell Tiger Free is clearly inspired from that, and she does an excellent job. She does an excellent job. It's like amazing when shown through the showcase. It's really good.
So
anyway.
From that to a performance which I read actually Amartya didn't like at all, and which is my favorite performance of 2024 yet. And I understand why someone wouldn't like it, but Justice Smith from I Saw the TV Glow, Amartya has just placed his hand on his head and sheer disappointment. But you
I
can
wish
voice your
it was.
complaints.
I wish it was disappointment, but anyway, it's just
Okay, then it's annoyance and anger and
yeah, more
frustration. Okay,
on
fine.
that front. Yeah.
Anyways, I really like this performance. I mean, there's a lot of performances. Again, what you guys said about Fahad Fasil and Avisham applies definitely. But I've basically tried to choose performances and elements from films which I probably like the most also. So Justice Smith, I really like just because it's again one of those things. He's not an actor I'm very familiar with, and the film is essentially the opposite of what Amartya said First Omen is. It's elevated horror in many ways. Elevated horror is essentially, Amartya, do you want to explain what
It's
elevated
a
horror is?
reductive term. It's a reductive term utilized by film intellectuals to understand what horror is at this point. That's
It's
exactly what it
simply
is.
it's a
Uh,
little pretentious
It's
horror, the
pretentious horror
pretentious
speak.
horror film essentially. That's
It's
the
pretentious horror speak, basically.
reputation it has garnered. So it's a A24 film.
It's the A24 horror film completely down pat. You know,
Yeah.
it houses a couple of movies that Dhruv also actually hates. Midsommar, I'm looking
Yeah,
at
yeah. I
you.
don't like some films
Yeah.
under that thing, but I do really like. I like this movie and I like this performance. Anyways, the film.
Yes.
People who aren't aware of the film, this is the second feature from Jane Shobran, who
Schonborn, yeah.
Shobran, I think, or
Yeah.
their first film was We Are All
We,
Going to the
you
World's
all going to
Fair,
the World's Fair, which I
which
haven't
is
seen, but I've heard good things about. Yeah.
yeah,
To
I
say
mean
that.
there's good things also said about this film, but you didn't like it, but okay.
Mm.
But anyways, that film was about, so their thing is a lot to do with screen horror, and in the sense that their first movie was about a teenager looking at online videos essentially, and online video culture like creepypastas and your online horror video games, and then sort of either finding their identity through those games, or losing their identity within them. So it's somewhere placed between losing or finding your identity through culture on the screen in many ways. And they are a trans person, so I think that trans experience is very key to I Saw the TV Glow also, almost too obviously key, which I think is a fair critique leveled at the film. Anyways, this film is basically what We Are All Going to the World's Fair is, but applied to 90s television and set in American suburbia, essentially. And it focuses a lot on these two characters who are obsessed with this TV show called The Pink Opaque, which is the show which sort of seems to be something which they relate to much more than they do to their own reality. One of those characters is sort of accepts that in many ways, and the other one is in consistent denial of, and he's a protagonist. He's in consistent denial of his confusion with his identity in many senses also. So this is the character played by Justice Smith, and again, this might be a personal take, but there's very very few actors do how to say it, like he's that idea of being slightly closed up, or being slightly afraid of the world, and like walking in a way, or sort of embodying an experience where you're consistently looking down, you're consistently the slouched shoulders of course is there, but this he has a very deep voice, which I think annoys a lot of people, which is also understandable. But I really thought that the deep voice sort of made the performance feel more vulnerable. So this idea of him not being able to speak, essentially, because it feels like it's burdensome for him to speak. And I think that's encapsulated in one scene particularly, where I think I've noted this down also, where like they are talking to each other on a bench, and when they're talking about basically gender identity and sexual identity in not cryptic terms, but sort of concealed terms, where he's basically saying that
when I think about that stuff, it feels like someone took a shovel and dug out all of my insides, and I know there's nothing in there, but I'm still too nervous to open myself up and check. I know there's something wrong with me.
See, these sort of things, when he's expressing through his delivery, I thought were very impactful. I related to the so again, this is very much a personal relation in the sense of related to the body language of the character. So I thought there was truth in the way that was displayed, so I did really respond to that performance. And his performance gets another moment, not like Possession, but has a similarly expressive moment towards the latter stages of the film, which I think has an impact because it's been so wound up until then. But yeah, I'm a fan of that performance a lot. But yeah, clearly,
I
Amartya, you
would
are
just
allowed to diss it. Yeah.
I would just like to say the clarity with which Dhruv actually explained I saw the TV glow, the movie doesn't do a fraction of that.
Oh
I
wow,
would
thank
just
you.
like to say that right now. The movie isn't clear about any of this.
Really?
Justice Smith's performance, I
Okay.
actually like. I agree with
Okay.
Dhruv to an extent about the body language and everything else because that is the one time the movie actually felt like it was delivering a human connection. That is the one
Interesting.
time it is actually
Okay.
delivering the humanity which it needed to express throughout.
Sure. Interesting. Because
Everything else that Dhruv actually parsed because this is parsing everything that he described so articulately. I wish the movie had a fraction of that articulation.
okay, I think the film articulates
Yeah.
it almost too much, but fine. Okay. Okay.
No,
Difference of
I think the movie throws a lot of information at you. It throws
Yeah.
a lot of visual, oral, and auditory information at you.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't think it manages to make it into any sort of a coherent whole. But again,
That's
that's
fair.
my issue
No, no,
with it.
but again, it's
Yeah.
it's been a fairly divisive movie, so it's not like
Hmm.
which
Yeah.
I think is a good thing with this type of film also. And I think you said there is another film, so a lot of people are calling this, at least in Hollywood, the trans film moment in many ways because it
Hmm.
has this film and
The People's
People's
Joker.
Joker, which Ted has seen and really liked, which is like a
Hmm.
play on Batman, and
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I think if one were to take it into account of that, people might call me hypocritical for liking the People's Joker and not liking this because both of them are kind of dealing with the same thing. But I think the People's Joker doesn't lose
No,
sight
but
of the narrative it is trying
yeah,
to
that's
say.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, again,
Uh,
people can like one type of one way.
yeah.
It's about expression, right? It's about the way the filmmaker has
Yeah.
expressed their idea. So,
And the entirety of the trans experience in the People's Joker is also included within a larger umbrella of satirizing media as well as comedy. It is dealing with a lot of things, and
yeah.
it is dealing with very cleverly.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'd just say that I either one of you can check out We Are All Going to the World's Fair or this just to get an inkling of the style,
yes, exactly.
of how these
Mm,
filmmakers are operating because they are regardless of if we like or don't like, there is value to their different style, I think, and
mm.
difference in I think they approach narrative also sometimes differently. At least in We Are All Going to World's Fair, Jane Chauvin is
It
anyways,
is gorgeous to look at. Also, I think the
which is
cinematography.
this is going to
Yeah.
get a repeat mention later, so don't
Mhm.
worry.
Is
I
this
will.
a psychological drama or it's pure horror?
It's not a horror
It's
film,
not horror.
actually.
Not
It's not a
horror.
It's not
horror
horror.
film.
Yeah.
It's horror in the sense of an identity, like it's
Mm.
like that the metaphorical horror,
It's
but it's not a
implicit
horror.
horror. That is why
Yes.
it's elevated. Devi, you
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
elevated. You know.
Okay.
You,
Yeah.
I think this film would
Yeah.
benefit a lot more from not having that tag only, to be very honest. But
Mm.
sure, now you can't help it. That's how you sell a film. Anyways,
No,
we are
but
done with
I
the.
know why the tag is there because the horror
I mean, there is
fans are
horror
like
elements
large in
to it.
numbers, so they are attracting a fan
Yeah.
base. They're
I mean,
attracting
there is body
eyeballs.
horror elements to it, like
Yeah,
one
yeah, yeah.
really, but yeah.
One.
One, yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's the maximum amount of salt you'll get. I think at least there, though you might get for one more movie, but I think Adityan can back me up on that one, so I think I'll be fine. Uh, because I know Adityan likes that movie. But anyways, the second. Don't worry, Adityan. I'm not going to throw surprises. I know you like it. Adityan is unsurely looking at the camera, which is what I'm saying. Anyways, our second category is screenplay, which again we'll begin with Adityan. We have one film which is shared across Devi and myself, so we'll talk about that in after Adityan's pick. But yes, Adityan,
Oh
You
my God.
name your selection and definitely don't spoil it because I have not seen it.
Okay, so my selection for editing, sorry, screenplay is
Screenplay.
Maharaja.
Yeah.
Screenplay is Maharaja. Obvious choice because after watching the film, I'm like, damn, what a writing this was.
This is
It's something.
Nithilan
Nithilan
Swaminathan.
Swaminathan,
Swaminathan.
yes.
Nithilan
Okay, fine.
Swaminathan. For
Okay.
those of people who don't know, Nithilan Swaminathan is one of the a crop of new age directors who was in the early 2010s after the show Nale Yekunar was a hit in Tamil TV space. He made a short film that was really amazing. It is even praised by Kamal Hassan. Kamal Hassan said that this guy will be the next phase of Tamil cinema, and he made a feature called 2017 feature Korangu Bommai.
Korangu Bommai,
Korangu
yes.
Bommai. Absolutely amazing. Another amazing amazing thriller, I would say. Just like this film too, just like Maharaja too, if I say anything about the film, it will spoil the essence.
But
So I'm not gonna say anything.
okay, potential spoiler, right? I'll put a star.
Okay.
Potential spoiler for whoever's not seen Maharaja. I have already seen comparisons to Old Boy. How much does that spoil this?
Basically,
Not much.
no, not much.
Not much. Okay,
Not
fine.
much.
Then no spoiler
I
brought in.
mean, people are literally taking that as Old Boy reference. That kind of, I mean, if
The
someone is
See, you
twistiness
want a
without
the
any
big.
idea,
you want a more direct Old Boy inspiration, watch Iratta. That is the
Okay.
one spoiler I can give
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Watch Iratta.
Irata would be better, but I would say for this film, Old Boy, if someone is saying Old Boy kind of a reference, if someone is going without any idea of film and getting hyped up that it would be another Old Boy, they would be disappointed. Yeah, no Old Boy is there. They would be like
Sure.
that.
Got it.
So I mean that's pretty deceiving, I would say.
I mean, if you want to watch Old Boy,
Watch Old Boy.
Ripoff, we have Zinda.
No, do not watch that movie. I have watched that movie before I watched Old Boy. So I have forever. Sanjay Gupta will be like he'll always be.
He will be banned.
He should be banned. Yeah, but anyways.
But
yeah, Maharaja.
Nithilan Swaminathan, in the Korangu Bommai itself, if you take the film itself, it's like how do you just get a MacGuffin of a bag, and you just travel it with different characters and connecting it in a single point. That's interlinking stories. That's something so amazing. He does with the different characters. It's a hyperlink narrative. In that film, Korangu Bommai, and it also has an inspiration towards the Korean dramas, Korean films too.
That's all we need. We need more of that. But anyways,
after 7 years gap, he made a second film. This is his second film. After 7 years, he made this film, and I can understand why it took 7 years. After watching the film, you will say it was worth the time actually. Because how much of meticulousness he put to the writing. Because even I recently watched 2 weeks back the film again too. And I was like, damn, how many details you get into a film, minute details into the film. And I'm just wondering how editor Philomin Raj was, he comprehended the whole screenplay and edited into a film.
This is on
Because
Netflix. It's very popular, right?
It's Netflix and it's popular
Very
right now.
popular is an understatement.
Very popular.
Yeah, I have friends who don't watch films regularly, and they were like, "Have you seen Maharaja?" I was like, "Wow, you
I
saw."
had to make a list for an assignment.
You don't need to be this despondent about it, Amartya. It's okay. You made it.
I mean, I had to look up Korean movies that might have complex screenplays to think about.
Okay,
These were the search codes.
So,
but Adityan, I think in Maharaja, I think one of the bigger things was both Maharaja and Kuranga Bommai had the MacGuffin thing, right? It's inanimate objects used as MacGuffin. Yeah. Which is like utilized in very clever ways. Both Maharaja and that movie are very screenplay driven.
Sure.
It is insanely plot and screenplay driven.
Another movie. So I was about to take. Should I transition? I have to ask you guys so that I don't. If you want to say more about Maharaja, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
No, nothing.
We can't spoil anything about it.
We can't spoil anything about it. just go with a plain mind, get amazed. That's it.
Yeah, and by
Okay.
the way, do not anybody who hasn't seen the movie and anybody who hasn't gone through the trolls of the internet, do not go in the internet, okay?
Okay.
Because there are many other points of view of the movie which is going to color your perspective of the
Okay.
movie without
Yeah,
without you even watching it.
So
So
this is
don't
the
do
best,
that.
but this is the best Anurag Kashyap movie of 2-3 years, I suppose. Then, right?
Yeah, Anurag Kashyap. Anurag
undoubtedly.
Kashyap is so good
Yeah.
as an
Okay.
actor in this.
Good.
Yeah.
Chalo, good. But I
If
was now. I don't
should
have a
ugly,
transition.
Anurag Kashyap's ugly did one kind of, a churning feeling in your stomach,
Yes.
Yes.
that kind of thing, that kind of feel you'll get after watching it.
Yeah.
That kind of a
I
shock you'll get.
yeah.
That's
I
it.
think
That's it.
I
I would
think
say.
for Amartya, even almost Pyar with DJ Mohabbat is a churning feeling in the stomach, but that was not intentionally done. But okay.
That movie is the perfect example of old man screaming at the clouds. I know what Gen Z love is. Yes. You do. Kashyap, you do. Of course you do.
This similar case of people not being able to identify the other gender properly, at least, is there also in our film. Sorry, I'm trying to find a segue. Okay. In Atom by Anand Nikashi, which was there in all of our lists in some way or
Yeah,
form. So
yeah.
it's
Like I wanted to put it in screenplay as well, but I'm
yeah.
like,
So
yeah.
Amartya put that / one more film which he will talk about. But
Hmm.
this one we can all talk about. Anand Nikashi, Atom. I have it on mine. Devi has it on hers. I mean,
One of the
this
best
was the
movies of this year, full stop.
simplest decisions to
Undoubtedly.
make in terms of putting it on, the best or like whatever favorite, at least in terms of.
This is also another Malayalam movie or another quote unquote South Indian movie which was being like compared to a Hollywood movie as its inspiration so much that people were like, hey, why should we watch it
12
then?
Angry Men.
Yeah,
12
and
12 Angry Men.
we were
Yes,
like,
12 Angry
just
Men.
watch it and make up your mind for yourself.
I would
And all,
say,
yeah,
I would still say the better comparison actually or companion piece to this is Asghar Farhadi's The
Asghar
Salesman.
Farhadi's Salesman. Yeah.
Asghar
Yeah.
Farhadi salesman. Yes,
Yeah.
undoubtedly.
So,
Salesman, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a good example. But yeah, we have talked exhaustively about this film
Exhaustively about
also
this movie, yes.
on another episode. But but why is the screenplay so special? I'll ask Devi, I suppose, or I can ask myself, but it feels very weird for me to do that. Anyways, Devi say, why do you think it's a film? Have you gone back and seen it again? Do you
Yes, yes.
remember? You've
Yeah.
gone back and seen it again, yeah?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
did watch it for our podcast. I mean, rewatch it
Ah,
again.
yes,
for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Then recently also, I just went back to a few, like, to just certain scenes.
Yeah.
Like one of the scenes which I absolutely love is when she returns back and she has this, I mean, in the auto and she has this smile. I mean,
Yes.
it's one of my favorite scenes from the film.
Yeah.
But as a screenplay, like how Adityan was telling, like actually there are a lot of choices.
Yeah.
Starting from Ullorukku, there's so many good screenplays. It's actually quite tough. This was the toughest, I would say.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is also a
So,
film which is, I think that, sorry, just to clarify, I think a lot of the films which we might choose are also films which emphasize these elements in a film. So, Atom is something which is a screenplay driven film,
correct.
like that
Yeah.
way. It's something in which, direction is almost subordinate to the screenplay in many
Yes,
ways. So
Yeah,
you,
it's
yes,
like
exactly.
it's like somewhere you feel that the story writes itself, so you have that feeling
It's
like
a very debut feature only, right? Because it's like,
yeah,
it's
Amazing
there's a
debut.
lot of
Hmm.
like somewhere I don't know whether I'm right or wrong, but I felt that like you're watching, like it is a drama, like there's somewhere so much of how do you say, scope for an improv that okay,
Yeah.
the next person is
Yes,
going to,
yes, yes.
and I feel that that's why I selected it for the best screenplay because
very naturalist dialogue. Very,
yes,
very naturalist
it
dialogue.
is
Yeah.
because the
Undoubtedly.
screenplay gives that scope where
Actually, yeah, now that you mentioned it, now I remember that one. So if there is one scene which sort of, you pinpoint, I was like, I think I had pinpointed even that episode we had, is the scene where before we have the meeting, the film takes the time to visit each and every character in their own job, doing
Yeah.
their own jobs.
yes.
That is the sort of
Yes.
screenplay decision which makes something like this feel,
Yeah, because
its
you
own
could have
thing.
because you
exactly.
could have taken the easy way out, right? You could
Yeah,
have just thrown them into the crucible and then
exactly.
allowed their characters to expound on that own, right? But
Yeah.
But
it doesn't do that.
even
Yeah.
that small thing of wearing that Indian oil T-shirt and coming,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Yes.
that
Yes, yes, yes.
factor about this man having a tumor in his, it's the same, I think the same guy, right? As having a,
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and then you're put in a position, in such a position where ultimately none of it matters. Like
Yeah.
you don't know that, okay, you can't be in any of their sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pointless.
No, but I think it's still humanizing them is a big thing. Because if
Correct,
it
correct.
didn't humanize
Yes.
them, then it would be very
I mean, he
easy
could have
to sneer
easily
at.
not
Yes.
humanized them, right?
Yeah,
He
it's
could have
very
very
easy to
easily
not
done
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So those are
That's
sort of the
giving them,
conscious decisions. Yeah.
that's right. That's giving them proper character arcs, giving them
Hmm.
proper justifications, not
Yeah.
justifications, proper reasons of, even the
Yeah.
Yeah.
professions chosen are such.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
A
mean,
person from this profession to behave a certain way, or that is also a part of his identity, very
yeah,
much a part of his identity.
absolutely. And not to sort of, jump from this to too much of Farhadi, but I always remember this one scene in A Separation with the person who's sitting there and sort of is, listening to everyone's complaints,
Yes,
whatever they
exactly.
have. And
Hmm.
just through that one scene, you get to know his entire
Correct.
being, life, or whatever his attitude towards life is. And I'm just like, that's the sort of, that's how you can make a compact screenplay where you have someone, it's economical and very and elaborate, which is very
Yet
hard to
dense.
do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Economical and
very,
dense. Yeah.
in that
Hmm.
sense, very, very expressive also.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very
Yeah.
expressive as a screenplay. And it's
Without
somewhere
feeling like it's written, which is what you said, right? It
correct,
feels like
correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it writes
Yeah,
itself.
yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah.
It happens.
exactly.
And these are the kind of screenplays. I mean, it makes you reflect on a lot of things. Even Ullorku, for that matter, it goes like that. Just
Hmm.
makes you reflect. So, and I don't know how. I mean, I'm always curious about the process of how they go into this, or how they build a scene, or how they
Hmm.
make these choices.
I can
But
tell you, of course, I've not written anything, neither have, but I've been a part of some places where they were developing some stories. I was a little heartbroken as to how mechanical it sounded.
is it?
But these are projects which are being done on a sort of,
No, but I think even as screenplay, I think the biggest you know stage for screenplay writers is television, right? And TV
yeah,
writers' rooms are
yeah,
very mechanical because
yes,
they block everything out. They
yep,
divide every stage of the episode or a season into
yes,
blocks, and that's
yes,
how you do it. And I think the mechanical part is absolutely essential, because if you
of
don't do
course,
that, the
yeah,
show runs the risk of being bloated or
bloated.
completely missing the point. Yeah,
Absolutely. No, no, no.
yeah.
It's one of those things where people say, right, that if you analyze movies, to how do you enjoy them? It's sort of that. It's a tipping point for some people. So I'm like, maybe I don't want to listen to people talk about the making of stuff, because then it becomes too analytical for me, and I'm just like, I need again, depends
You
on
need a
different people.
distance.
Slightly, yeah, it depends on different people.
These kind of screenplays, it makes, I mean,
He must have released it online though, right? Or no?
The
Oh,
screenplay,
yeah.
I don't think so.
I
Okay.
don't think so, man.
Okay.
but it
I
makes
mean, we
so
can
many
ask him.
Hmm.
it makes so
Yeah.
many readings possible. There's so much of tough
Yeah.
subtext. There's so much. That's
The
why I
choice
read
to make
so much
the
of,
choice to make every character's name with the real actor's name as the character's name also.
Character.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
The choice
Vinay
that was
Hmm.
that was also amazing to see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
എന്താ പെണ്ണു ചിരിക്കാത്തേ ഏതാ പെണ്ണു ചിരിക്കാത്തേ
തുണി നിനക്ക് തന്ന് രാവിലെ തന്നെ എന്നോട് പറഞ്ഞുകൂടായിരുന്നല്ലേ?
അതെ, നീ ആയിട്ട് ഇതാരോടും പറയാൻ നിൽക്കണം.
ഗ്രൂപ്പിലെ മറ്റു അഭിനേതാക്കളുമായി ഇന്ന് ഇവിടെ നടത്തിയ മീറ്റിംഗിൽ പരാതി വാസ്തവമാണെന്ന് ബോധ്യപ്പെട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്.
എനിക്കറിയാവുന്ന മഞ്ചനറിയോ? മഞ്ചന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങളെ കുറിച്ച് കടുപ്പിക്കേണ്ടി വരും കേട്ടോ. പലരും പല വഴിക്കാണ്.
ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ, പുറത്താക്കണം.
സർ, ഞങ്ങളുടെ ഈ തീരുമാനത്തിന് ഒപ്പമുണ്ടാകുന്ന ഉറച്ച ബോധ്യത്തോടെ എല്ലാവരും അവരവരുടെ ഒപ്പുകൾ രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. വിശ്വസ്തയോടെ.
So
So
and
yeah, I
how
think
even within that setup, how he builds the tension, he creates and he somewhere sustains it.
yeah,
So it's a
absolutely. Yeah.
brilliant
No, it's actually
movie.
very well directed in play
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a lot of places also. Like I remember the whole coconut falling like it's a
Yeah.
ring, like the whole
There are
match
moments of
starts.
slow motion which is actually utilized quite nicely
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
slow motion moments. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, if you want more extensive talk about that, you can listen back to the episode. We move on to Amartya's screenplay. Amartya, go ahead. Not Amartya's written screenplay,
Thank God.
Amartya's
I was like,
favorite
wait, when did I write a
screenplay.
screenplay? Yeah, please. What the hell?
Amartya's favorite
हाँ,
screenplay. Yes.
उतना
Yeah.
उतना talented नहीं हूँ मैं.
I have not written down, say, I have a very neat list. So I didn't write the title of this film down. So Amartya, you will have to pronounce it in full.
Yeah, so this is a Bengali movie, and this
The
movie
only Bengali movie.
Yeah, the only Bengali movie.
Yes.
This statement can be applied to my industry as well. The only Bengali movie worth watching at this point. Yeah, so yeah. The movie is, let me bring up the letterbox because letterbox has an
SSBHK, हाँ?
English letterbox has an
Oh,
English
बोल दो इंग्लिश में बोल दो क्या नाम है
translation. I
हमें भी
sincerely,
समझ आ
oh,
जाएगा
they removed the translation. Anyway, doesn't
Oh,
matter.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so the Bengali movie name is Sri Shopon Kumarer Badami Hayanar Kobole.
Okay.
What
And
this
English?
basically means is the curse or captured by the brown hyena. Now the
Okay.
brown hyena is a villain basically, and Sri Shopon Kumar is the name of an author.
Okay.
This entire movie is basically structured like the title is structured like a pulp story. This movie is about a writer, Sri Shopon Kumar, who was a pulp fiction writer.
Okay.
Okay. So he started writing. He was responsible for creating one of the hold on a second, one of the forgotten detectives of Bengali literature known as Deepak Chatterjee.
Okay.
Okay. This movie is simultaneously a love letter to the pulp fiction, love letter to pulp fiction, as well as skewering the Bengali film industry's obsession with utilizing detective stories as the only form of content they can produce all the time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when everybody says, when everybody asks, ki, why aren't people working on more Bomkesh movies or more Feluda movies? Every time I raise my hand and say, no more, please, we
You
are
will
going
be
to
getting
die
them
now.
though, Amartya, still.
Yeah,
So
we are going to die now. So this movie directly addresses that, but it also highlights a very specific form of pulp fiction that isn't being written now, because at the time when it had been written in a pulp form. It had been written as cheap books to be consumed and then to be thrown away, like pulp comics used to be. Okay.
Sure.
And these books were very popular in the subaltern regions. Okay. So, and this movie is unlike another superhero movie, which is quote unquote meta, which is
Oh
now earning a
God,
lot of
no,
money,
no, it's
which is now
okay.
earning a lot of
Yes,
money.
yes.
This movie is also extremely meta.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, I still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Only
It's
Amartya
completely
has
fine.
seen it.
It's
Okay.
completely fine, Aditya.
I'm
You are not
watching.
missing anything
I'm
out.
watching it. I'm
He's a
planning it.
fan
I'm
of
planning to watch
Deadpool.
it.
Same, I'm
I'm
also
planning to
planning
watch
to
it.
watch
I'm
Yeah.
this
planning to
If
watch
you're
it.
a
I'm
fan of
planning to.
Deadpool, then it's fine, no?
कुछ नहीं होगा इस दुनिया का.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm a
doesn't
fan of
matter.
it.
Yeah.
Anyways, are you done with
No, the basic story
Yeah.
is this. Okay, the world in which this movie is shown is the fact that Deepak Chatterjee as the detective exists in this Kolkata,
Okay.
but Deepak Chatterjee's author also exists in this Kolkata. Okay. And what the author is writing, the detective is working according to the author's whims.
Sure.
Now
So making like forming of and
Yeah.
drama. So drama and writing of the drama taking place simultaneously.
Yeah, it's the creator and the creation's
Creation.
direct
Yes.
contact. But the fun part is the creator is not a quote unquote literature writer. He writes very fast because he's churning out plots. But some of the plots don't mash up, some of the plots are meandering. And the creation, that is Deepak Chatterjee, is commenting in his head to the author that what plot twist is this? Mr. Chair, what plot twist is? What are you doing?
Oh, you don't find this annoying?
This is not annoying in this movie.
Okay, interesting.
It's not
No, no.
annoying in this movie.
Okay.
It's done very sparsely. It's done very subtly.
Sure, sure.
There are
So
weird asides.
so
Okay, there
it's
is
a
a.
lot. So it's a lot to do with creating a sincere drama and also doing the self.
I think the sincerity stems from the fact that you know perfectly well that this is a love letter, because this is
Okay.
such a niche sort
Hmm.
of a creation, and this
Hmm.
has been like when I went to watch this movie.
Hmm.
First of all, the theater was half empty because nobody is going to watch this movie,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
no one has watched it on IMDb. So
yeah,
I mean, not that
Actually,
that is.
from whatever you
Hmm.
told, Amartya, I think there is a very similar plot line. I mean,
Hmm.
when the creator and the creation comes, and then
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
influence the writing and
Hmm.
similar.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
There is a spoof movie in Malayalam called Chiragodinya Kinavugal.
Okay.
Also has somewhere, I mean, not entirely or not exactly,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
yeah, it also has a similar line to it.
Okay.
Hmm.
Little
Uh,
Women has it a little
Hmm.
bit, if you want
Hmm.
to say.
uh,
But this narrative is like crazy. Okay,
Sure.
it's like fun. It is not pretentious. It is the farthest thing from
Same.
pretentious at
It's
this point.
very.
Hmm.
This one is also a spoof movie. If you want
Yeah, this
to
is
watch,
it's the far. Yeah.
I have a comparison to make, but then I won't you because you'll be angry because it'll
I'm
be.
going to make a comparison that is going to make you angry. This movie reminded me of very favorably so, because there is a plot sequence in this movie which is reminding me very much of that
Okay.
of Roy, Vikramjit
I was
Singh's
about
Roy.
to say, yeah. I was
Yeah.
about to say, yeah.
Yeah, this
I
movie reminded me of Roy because there is literally a sequence in which
hmm.
Deepak Chatterjee and his cohorts are stuck in the middle of the ocean, and
Hmm.
then the writer has a writer's block and he doesn't know how to move the
Ah,
plot
okay,
forward.
okay, got it.
So all the creators are stuck in the
Okay.
ocean.
So
The
this movie
difference, the
didn't do
difference
well.
between Roy and this is the difference
Hmm.
between Roy and this is in this movie the creation also exists in the world as the creator.
Sure,
So while
got
the
it.
creator is thinking, the creation is stuck there. The creation doesn't know what to do.
Just to clarify to people, Roy is a movie that released a couple of years ago, which no one saw. Only Amartya likes it, I
Yeah,
think.
it's in
Amrita likes it.
2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in
Yo,
2013.
Rai, 2013, man.
Yeah.
2013, so not a couple of
Yeah.
years, maybe 11
It's a
years back.
decade.
Sorry.
Decade
Yeah.
Sorry,
ago.
yeah.
And by the way, to all the people who rejected it, you people have no taste. That movie was ahead of its time. I am serious.
I would suggest that you rewatch it and then say this. Sometimes time passes and maybe the movie isn't as good. I don't know. I've not
Mm,
seen it. But
mm.
anyways,
You need
uh,
to watch it. But again, I would suggest if you are not going to watch this, you watch this, because this
hmm,
movie comments on the racism that had been inherent in pulp. Like, of course,
okay.
like in
Hmm,
pulp stories, like,
hmm,
the Fu Manchu stories or the
hmm,
Charlie Chan stories, those stories were
hmm,
very racist
yeah,
towards like the Chinese populace or Japanese
sure.
populace. This story like
Without
Shopun,
being racist itself, which is the very
it is
important thing.
commenting on racism by being overtly showing the racist caricatures,
No,
but
but
you are
does it
supposed to
become
understand
racist?
that you are supposed to understand that it is a caricature.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it. Got it. Anyways,
it
but
yeah.
where is it available? Hoichoi.
Hoichoi.
Did anyone? So this is a flop.
This was
Not.
a massive flop.
Okay, that's
Huh?
quite sad
Mhm.
considering you think this is the only
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
great thing.
it has a
Amartya's.
fantastic cinematography also, because
Hmm.
I haven't seen Kolkata shot like a neo noir quite like this.
Okay.
I'm definitely watching it.
Yeah.
Hoi
Definitely.
Joy, na? How long is it,
Hoichoi.
Amartya?
Wait, let me check the correct
Okay,
runtime. But
you
if I'm
checked
not
till
mistaken,
now.
it is, I think, around 2 hours.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
I
so I'm
mean,
sorry. It's 2 hours 23 minutes. Sorry.
that's okay. That's
Okay,
okay.
average.
কেউ বলবে আমি এই বইগুলোর লেখক
সস্তার গোয়েন্দা গল্প গ্যাজাখুড়ি
Deepak Chatterjee.
পাল্প ফিকশন তুমি তার হিরো
Anyways, this will be a musical interlude here, inserted essentially, because we are shifting to our third category, which is favorite music. I think we'll, wrap this one out quickly, I think. But again, we have two similarities, so we'll talk about those later. But first is Adityan's pick. Adityan.
Okay, so music, there was a lot of choices, and I'm glad that Dhruv and Devi got my film, so that's good. Uh, but I'm making a more unusual I would say. But I like the music of this film. It's lover Tamil film, directed by Prabhuram Vyas. So basically, it's about two lovers who are in the brink of the final stages of the relationship.
Yeah.
I would say so. That that's the one liner. That's not what some people might feel like what's there in it. But if you see the film, it's something like on the lines of Blue Valentine. I
Oh
would
wow,
say.
so depressing.
So I won't say depressing. I
No,
won't
no,
say not that. Now
I really like
I
Blue
won't.
Valentine, but I'm
Blue
just saying it
Valentine.
is a
I'm not
depressing
saying.
movie.
I mean, Blue Valentine is kind of like so depressing, so melancholic. This also has a melancholia, but it's
Yeah.
something more optimistic of sorts,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
And there's just like you get two leads who are both flawed.
Yeah.
Some people even say this
This is
film has
another love
this.
story you like, Adityan, then, right?
I won't say it's a love story actually.
Okay.
It's actually a complex character
It's a
study of both.
relationship
Okay, sure.
deterioration drama.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a new
Amartya
term.
put
Breakdown,
it right.
right? Yeah.
Breakdown. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the
Okay.
brink of the collapse.
Falling out of love story.
Falling
You
out
should
of love story.
it should be noted that all of us like relationship breakdown dramas because we are cynical
No,
a-holes
no,
who
no, no,
don't
no.
like
I
love
don't agree.
stories.
I have one film in this which is a proper feel good. Well, not feel good, but bittersweet romance. Anyways.
I would say it's on the lines of something so drama. I would say drama. I haven't seen something so pure of a drama in Tamil cinema in recent times. Pure of a
Okay.
minimal drama. I would say.
I have heard mixed things about this movie, but I will see it.
But the music, you're
I
saying
love the
is it
film.
Music,
okay?
but talking about the music, it's something Sean Roldan's best, I would say, because
Okay.
Sean Roldan has done some great, amazing works in Tamil cinema, and this is undoubtedly one of his best works with his score. The score had some techno stuff and orchestrals and everything. And why I'm saying this, I love the music is that I have been listening to Ten Sudre song for when it got released. The song lyrics were so profound and so lyrical in quality in Tamil that I haven't listened to that kind of lyrical quality in Tamil rarely in recent times. So that was something that impressed me a lot. That lyrics actually impressed me a lot.
So is this more to do with the songs being great or the musical score itself also being great?
Yeah, musical score too, I would say, because in that film, there's actually the orchestral, violin interludes they use. So in the first scene, when one of the leads, just puts their shoulder on another lead, and cut there comes the music of that violin, the orchestral violin, like some epic violin. That's something like wow.
Got it.
Now we are getting into something great, and
Okay.
throughout the whole, you see the score something tension up and something smash cut after that.
Sure.
So that the sounds and music everything just blends a lot, and the soundtrack too, the songs too blended a lot, I would
Sure.
say.
Yeah,
Blended
that's
a
great.
lot.
Yeah.
Soundtrack too blended a lot. I mean, it wasn't like a hindrance to the screenplay. It's like,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's the biggest compliment actually you can give because half the time
I would say. And the climax part where both the leads fall out of their relationship, and there is this one epic shot where the rain falls on the leads, rain falls, and there starts another version of the same Ten Sudre song. The violins have some kind of the operatic tension, I would say.
Okay.
I would say
So
the
music
operatic tension.
like it governs a lot of the film's
Oh
emotion.
Fortuna kind of, Oh Fortuna kind of thing, that violence.
Wow.
Sure.
That was like epic. I was watching it in my 5.1 system. I was like, wow. I watched it again after that. I watched it again. But the funny thing is, everyone in my circle, for them, it was like a depressing film for them.
Yeah, but I
Because
mean, I like depressing movies, but
it reminded their relationship, and one story. So I don't want
Always
to
good to
reveal.
have no relationship. See, you can
I
enjoy
don't-
these movies much better.
I don't want to reveal his name. So he's a great well-wisher and friend of mine.
Yeah.
So he watched lover with his lover in
Yes.
theater, and
Shouldn't
after
have
that
done that.
he got breakup.
Oh
They broke
God.
up. 2 days later he got broke up.
So this is Blue Valentine for Tamil cinema.
Yeah,
This
it is
is
Blue
the
Obviously,
Valentine.
obviously, I would say, and interestingly, Prabhuram Vyas, the director, also quoted that Blue Valentine was his inspiration for this.
Devi, your choice is again. I have not written down the name. I have only
Yeah.
written down the initials. So please go ahead and pronounce it.
Yeah, so the music director is Don Vincent.
Yeah.
The film is Sureshandeem Sumaladeydeem Hridaya Pranayakatha.
Yes. Which when Devi mentioned on Instagram chat, I thought was that was the three
three
musical
films in
tracks.
one.
No, three musical tracks from the film, and I was like, okay, interesting. But anyways, yeah.
It's just the heartening love story of Suresh and Sumalata. That's the
Yes. Yes.
translation.
Yeah.
Like how Amartya had translated the Bengali.
The Bengali title. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So something on those lines. So
Mm.
this director, Ratish Balakrishna Padwal, he had, I think you would be familiar with that movie, Enna Than Case Kodu.
I think, yeah,
Bourbon.
I understood.
Okay.
So these two characters from the Suresh and Sumalata, they were a part of this film,
Okay.
and now they have a separate story.
So like a shared universe, like made
Somewhat,
a different sort of
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
this is entirely their story, and this
Yeah.
is a love story, and
Yeah.
it's like all of his works. If you see, they're very peculiar. They're very
Okay.
weird. Like how do you say? Very unique in that sense.
Okay.
Very bizarre, very and
Quirky?
lots of
No?
quirky. Yeah,
Okay,
quirky,
fine.
the best phrase, best
Okay.
word, I think.
Okay.
So why I love the music is mainly because how not just the music, the lyrics,
Mhm.
everything is like
Yeah.
how we were discussing about the screenplay.
Mhm.
This music is so driven by that story. It's entirely driven by the story. Even the lyrics, how it's somewhere towards Kasaragod, the northern part of Kerala. So the language itself there's a lot of difference.
Sure.
And this is actually it's like the story is caught in a time loop. Like there is the 60s, there is the 80s, and there is the 2000s. So it's the same characters. They fall in love all these three periods, then they go through these
Why
challenges.
does this sound like this sounds so
This is
much like
sounding like The Fountain for some reason.
This sounding like a French movie that released right now on
The Beast.
Criterion. Yeah, The Beast. It's the same thing. But anyways,
No,
yeah.
maybe because of how I am explaining it, but
No. It's the three time periods
Yeah.
with three
yeah.
romances essentially. Yeah. Fountain also is like maybe both of them are inspired by The Fountain, the Darren Aronofsky film. Anyways, go ahead. You were saying.
but
Bertrand
then
Bonello got inspired by The Fountain.
I mean,
and they
one of
made
the
this.
films. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
films. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah, Devi.
so yeah, even the language, it's the how he has utilized it. There's a mix of English, Tamil, not in the songs, but at least in in the film, there's mix of English, Hindi, Tamil. Everyone is speaking everything.
Yeah.
So and that quirkiness, it comes into the music
So
also.
music.
I love.
Got it.
So there's some 6 to 7 tracks are there, and I love all of them.
Sure.
That's a big music. That's a big music album. 6 to 7
6
tracks.
to 7 are there in this movie
like,
also or no? Or is it
yeah,
more like
it
okay?
is because it is like a music.
I am the musical person here. So yeah.
but
Amartya is
it
not
is
it.
this,
That's a different scenario.
Yes.
it is a kind of, these tunes are like very, how do you say, like everyone will have it on their
Sure, got it.
It's everyone can sing it, everyone, it's very that sense, how do I say, it's very democratic.
Well, that's one thing that
it's like very aware, like it has taken the kind of genre into consideration.
ప్రేమలో లలో 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 లలో
I'm going to change my choice right now.
But why?
Because I remembered something. That's why. And you are going
Okay,
to speak about that movie anyway, so it's fine.
Okay.
I have no issue about it. But my
Anyways,
choice.
the early, you go ahead first, then yeah.
My choice is the other one which I had sent Dhruv in the previous list. And this is going to shock Dhruv so much because how much hatred I have for the filmmaker. But Amar Singh Chamkila.
Yes. Okay, fine. I was underwhelmed by the soundtrack, so I didn't really have it. I only like one song from the film. So.
I had two more choices other than the one which you had. One is Amar Singh Chamkila and the other is Premalu. Both of those choices I am taking into account because of how much the music,
music is
actually,
crucial also.
how much
Right?
crucial to the movie.
Sure.
In case of Premalu, the music was crucial because it is highlighting the modernity of this era. It is highlighting Gen Z experience in Hyderabad. The music is a key component of that.
Yep.
Amar Singh Chamkila, which is a biopic about a very controversial figure, the music is essential, and the music is so essential that even the lyrics become part of the screenplay. The lyrics flash
they
across the
flash on
screen.
the screenplay, right?
Yeah, they flash
So
on the screen.
screen,
Yeah,
not the screenplay. How can they flash on a screenplay? But yeah, sorry. Yeah,
they flash on the screen, and each and every time the song is being constructed, the subtitles are also working in tandem with the movie because the subtitles are giving you context about what the songs actually mean.
Yeah.
And context is essential for a character like Chamkila and why he was so renowned and so hated.
Is this your biggest shock of the year, Amartya?
What about song? No,
that you liked this movie, like really liked it.
Nah, it isn't. Believe me.
It's not the biggest shock of the year. I have to say, the more I've thought about Amar Singh Chamkila, the less I've been fond of it. But anyways, I really like Baja though.
It is shocking that I like an Imtiaz Ali movie now. But again, that's a bigger shock for me.
People really liked Amar Singh Chamkila, so good. I did
People
pretty
are saying
well.
it is one of the more better films of his career, one of the best films of his career. And while I am nobody to judge. I
But I
don't
really
like that
but
filmography at all.
I think that opening sequence is a proper,
Top notch.
top notch. And I think the film my problem is that the film peaks there and then sort of peters out.
I think the biopic screenplay of it all is actually done quite well, but some of the choices the movie makes regarding the filmmaking choices, like putting graphic novel intertitles and then
like there's a lot of directorial choices
there
being
are
made
directorial choices. I think it is also driven by the musicality of it all because
Yeah.
Rahman's music is real. Rahman's music and soundscape of this movie is
Rahman
really
and Imtiaz Ali in general are a very good trusted
they're a very
combo
good
in my
pairing,
name.
and I think this movie it works a lot. Again, the one choice which I had, which Dhruv is going to talk about, is
Well, I'm not going to talk
great
much.
choice.
What do I talk about Hans Zimmer now? Okay, like Hans Zimmer and Dune Part 2. Wow, what a surprising choice.
What a
of this
surprise!
music.
I mean, that was my other choice. I mean, it's like a low ball hanging choice at this point.
So recently I've started complaining a little bit, and I even when I went to the IMAX to watch Dune Part 2. While watching it, I was like, how many more horns am I going to have blown in my ears? Because I was like, there's so many, again, it's a Hans Zimmer trademark in many ways. So, but I really,
wow.
but no, I really like the two tracks actually I've mentioned have very little of it. Not that the horns are a problem, Aditi, you can talk about it because
Time of Quiet Between the Sands, undoubtedly.
A Time Between the Storms and Only I Will Remain are the two things I have here as the things I listen to again and again. But
it's a
mean,
fantastic
music. Dune 2 soundtrack is undoubtedly one of the best. So it's the best thing, man. I mean, in theater itself, I was floored by it. But by top pick would be A Time of Quiet Between the.
It's really nice. It's really lovely, and it's such a great change in pace, no? And to the whole
great change in pace. I mean, when both the leads, Zendaya and
Timothy
Chalamet, both of them just small. They say, we have oceans there, and she said, what is ocean?
Oh yes,
And
it's the kiss
that
scene, right,
conversation,
between the
that
two.
kiss
Yeah,
scene, and there is
camera
something.
revolves, and then there's
I mean, there's a techno sounds oozed with kind of a melancholy, I would say, because
I think,
there.
correct me if I'm wrong, Adityan and Amartya actually for this thing, but isn't the sound of the flute is actually not the flute but a guitar?
Yeah.
Or some
Yeah,
weird
guitar.
thing,
Yes,
right?
guitar,
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
Yes,
It
yes, yes, yes.
sounds like a
It's not a
flute.
flute. It's
Yeah.
not a
It's not a
flute. It's
flute. It's
like
flute. It's not a
distortion.
flute.
It's like distortion changed so much,
Act,
and it's like it's sounding like a
yeah,
flute. Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
distortion plays a lot of role. Actually, the whole soundtrack in itself is like a past meets the future. In fact.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that it's a combination of Western and Eastern actually, because that's one of the
Yeah.
controversial elements of Dune verse in general, I suppose, that
Yeah,
Eastern elements have
let's leave those controversies, man. Because I mean,
we will address the
I don't really side with those opinions. I would say, yeah,
no, no,
well,
I get
it's
it.
just
No, no,
like
no,
your opinion, man.
yeah. No, no, no. I mean,
If we are
I've
going to if we are
hmm.
going to hold every person in the 60s accountable for not
Oh
being
God.
open about
Yeah,
race and identity
exactly,
and gender, we are all screwed.
We
exactly.
are already screwed. There's no
Mm.
question
We are
about it.
Exactly,
even
But
more
okay.
screwed now. That's
Acha,
my
okay.
point. Huh.
Okay,
Exactly.
fine.
Okay. So coming to that time of fight between the two.
Yes.
So that thing actually the score itself speaks a story actually, because I would say, because
Hmm.
you see the tourists you feel like they both will lead a life, but it's like no, there's no future for the both.
Isn't even
The
that track what you're saying, right? I remember that. I mean, of course, every track tells its own story and all that stuff. But even in that track, you have it begins with that romantic moment, but it ends with
yeah,
like bombastic. So again, the
bombastic, yeah, yeah.
our
Yes.
fourth category we are moving on to, which is cinematography.
Yeah.
We don't have commonalities in this, but anyways, Amartya, let's begin with you just because we are on Dune Part 2 and this sort of
Yeah.
goes
I'm shocked
directly.
that you don't have
Part
Dune
two.
Part 2 for this. I think, yeah,
I don't
this.
have it.
I mean, none of you have Dune Part 2 for
I mean,
this.
that's probably because
I mean, it's
it's.
obvious choice, you know. So
Huh,
I would include everything in Dune Part Two, man.
Yeah.
Yes,
like if you want, that way.
No, like
No,
this is the
no.
one this is the one thing, I mean, I can't deny. Like this is spectacular.
Yeah.
This
undoubtedly, yeah, man. Yeah,
spectacular. Like there are two desert movies of this year that I wanted to include. Like one is Dune Part 2 and the other is Furiosa. Both of those desert
Yeah, no,
movies
no,
are
yeah, because you both chucked out Furiosa at the end moment of
hmm,
your list, so I don't
hmm,
have it here. But good, mention it. It's a nice
hmm.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
a nice nice. I really
As in,
like
I
that
didn't
one.
love it, but I'm a
I
big
really
fan
love
of the
that
Mad
movie.
Max universe. So,
I really love that movie, but both
mm,
of the
Yeah.
versions, both of the depictions of the desert for both of these movies. There is another Indian movie, and there is another Indian movie
yeah.
out this year which also has the desert in it, which is also not bad in terms of depiction
Cinematography.
of the desert, quality of the movie notwithstanding. But
What is this?
the goat life, Adu
Original,
Okay,
original.
okay, okay. Yes, yeah, yeah. Huh.
But I think undoubtedly Dune Part 2 cinematography is gorgeous because the cinematography is also quite creative in how it uses the
Mm,
color palette to highlight some of the action sequences. That
yeah.
opening sequence is
Oh,
a
opening is so
banger.
good.
That
Absolutely
opening
amazing.
sequence is a banger, and one of the reasons is the darkened color palette.
What is it like?
Set
Orangish brown? What is
orangish,
it?
Yeah.
It's orangish. It's a dark orangish
Very good.
brown.
It's like trippy.
It
It's
was basically
fully
like,
trippy.
Devi, have you seen Sicario
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
whatever? It reminded me a lot of the
I
Sicario's
mean, I
action
understand
sequence.
Sicario Part 1's reminding because both of them share the same director. So I think one
Yeah,
of the
Wohi,
directorial
of
touches
course. Yeah.
definitely works.
of course.
But again, it's like the color correction of
Yeah.
this movie as well as the scope. Like
Mm,
uh, there are many ways you can shoot the desert, right?
yeah.
You can shoot the desert as an uninhabitable place. You can
Yeah.
shoot the desert for all its grandeur and beauty, or you can shoot the desert in a very sparse way with nothing at all.
Yeah. All
This
three?
movie kind of does all three, and this movie
Yeah.
does all three exceptionally well.
Yeah.
I remember a sequence in Dune Part 2 where one of the spaceship is flying above, and this usage of
Oh,
CGI
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
cinematography, because the
Mm.
spaceship is like reflective, fully glass made and reflective, the
Yeah.
reflection showing the desert again.
Yeah.
Genius sequence. It's like, it's again, I can't believe I'm bringing this up because
Yeah, it's very surprising. I'm
the
very happy that Amartya and me have come around to Dune Part 2. Like, I genuinely went in with no expectations because I was like, I really didn't click with Part 1. And I was like, how much better can this be in any case for me? But I was like, wow, I was not expecting this. Anyways, it's a good, it's
And
great.
also the fact that I can't believe I'm bringing this up, but I'm going to echo sentiments of our two co-hosts. This is
Oh
undoubtedly a
God,
very
no, don't
theatrical
do
experience.
this. Don't do
Undoubtedly.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Even I
and
think Devi and Adityan are of the same school, to be very
yes.
honest. So it's only us two who
Yes,
are alone in this.
the theatrical love fest. I am not a part of the theatrical love fest. I don't think it matters too much for the quality of a movie. But
Yeah.
I think in Dune Part 2, the theatrical experience is very good because
I've yet to
yeah,
rewatch it, to be honest. On a normal, I don't think it'll make a difference. Honestly, I
I
end up
also don't
liking more.
think I
I
also
end up
don't think
liking
so. Yeah.
films more on smaller screens actually for some whatever weird reason.
Yeah.
But
If you can watch Dunkirk on a train or on an airport or on an plane ka screenplay, and if you still enjoy the movie, that is going to show you the
that is
quality of
true.
the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. But okay, so now we move on to Devi, who, because I know you were very quiet, because, of course, because you didn't see the movie. Why will you speak about it? But you have your choice, which I have written, but I would like you to say it. This is such a weird way
Yeah,
to
it's
introduce it, but yes, go ahead. Sorry.
so I've chosen Captain Miller.
Yeah.
So similar to
Another
how,
desert movie.
yeah, that's what
Oh,
I
it's
was
all
listening
deserts.
to
Okay.
No,
what Amartya was telling, and why somewhere that theatrical experience counts, in such
Mm.
films where it's purely a visual spectacle, because the film has
undoubtedly.
the film has a lot of issues. I have
Mm.
a lot of issues with the writing.
One of the reasons why I haven't watched it yet, because I'm a massive fan of the director, so I haven't
Mm.
watched it
Uh,
yet because of
I mean, it's
but,
it's a total leap from the director, I would say, in
Hmm.
terms of the writing, but
How was
the style
Malai
too.
Koti in terms of cinematography? Not good?
Oh,
Malai,
that Malai Kotai Valiban is, that movie is like
yes, yes,
cinematography gold. It's like
it
Lilo Jose
is.
Pellicer
because I
actually
remember
guided
Lilo ka
this.
in
Yeah, it's
in Nanpakal also the cinematography was
Nanpakal,
terrific.
it's
yeah.
like
So
Lilo Jose Pellicer is suddenly deciding I'm going to be Zack Snyder, and I'm like, okay then.
I don't know what to
Oh,
think about that, but okay. Sorry.
Actually, it
Yeah.
was nice. I mean, as you
Okay. No, no, I was
said,
just wondering. But anyways, go ahead. You were saying about
hmm.
Captain Miller.
but it was so difficult to hold our attention to that cinematography point. I mean, I didn't like the film at all in Malakot.
Okay, fine.
So
Oh yeah, yeah. You
I
told me. Yes, yes, yeah. You didn't like it. Yes, yeah.
yeah, I
I
couldn't
haven't
get
watched
into
it.
the specifics of it actually.
Yep.
But
Okay.
for this movie, it
Hmm.
was one of the saving grace. I mean,
Okay.
Captain Killer, and the
Hmm.
narrative structure is also as such. It's like
It's
into
chapter breaks, right?
chapter like four
Chapter
to
Hmm.
breaks, yes,
five.
chapter history.
Yeah, so it's
From
lengthy.
Tarantino to Kashyap to Matheshwaran.
Oh, it's a Matheshwaran film.
Arun
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Arun
Matheshwaran, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Matheswaran.
Okay, okay. You used to like
Matheshwaran,
him.
yeah, exactly. That is why I was shocked that nobody's
Yeah.
liking the movie. I'm like, okay, मैं
Oh,
बाद
no
में
one
देखूंगा.
liked it.
I mean,
Not a
I'm
lot of people
surprised
liked it.
actually
Not
why no
like
one is liking the movie.
Yeah.
not like I didn't entirely like it. I mean, but I don't know. It has its problems. It's not
No, I
something.
mean, is it a
Uh,
similar sort of? 'Cause I've seen only one, and I was like, it's too like to me, it's the Vasan Bala issue a little bit, where it's like too inspired by the people who he likes. So it's
Hmm.
like, aap kahan ho isme?
yeah,
It's like, where are
somewhere.
you within
Okay,
this
okay.
film? I'm
So
like,
that
it's
problem is here. Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, okay, got it.
Like Rocky, I really liked, and again, Rocky had fantastic cinematography. That
Okay,
movie is gorgeous to look at.
yeah,
That
someone
is
called it a
where.
Terrence Malick thing. Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
anyways, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
so
Anyway,
that is
sorry,
where.
sorry. I did not mean to bring that person in this conversation today. My fault.
What
Sorry,
are you
go ahead,
going to do
Devi.
when the Malik movie ultimately releases next year? That Jesus Christ movie that Malik
It
is
won't
making?
release. It
क्या
won't.
कह रहे हो? It won't release. It will release.
Anyway, Devi, sorry, you were saying, my bad. I will cut this digression out. Anyway, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
no, no.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's
Yeah.
like what was I telling? Yeah, the structure is such. It's
Structure.
about like 2 or 3. No, it's about 3 hours, I think, right? Two and a half.
Yeah, I
Two
think
two
so.
and a
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
two
It's
and a half
close to
hours.
touching 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Three
it
hours,
was
yes.
pretty long, and
Okay.
Yeah.
considering the structure and considering even the how it has this spaghetti western style.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, undoubted.
Yeah,
Very,
undoubtedly.
though it was very rustic, and as
Must be violent
all
and all,
the
no? Super violent, hyper violent
exactly,
and
and
everything.
Not
Yeah.
super violent, I would say, but
not
violent.
not
Okay.
Something like
but there's
the
lots
westerns.
of
The westerns.
action. Yeah,
Hmm.
lots of action and
Is
lots
it
of but
gratuitous in that regard? Like it is spending a lot of time on the action and not too much on the
yeah,
material.
that's what it gets
Okay.
repetitive after a
Sure.
while.
Okay.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
Somewhere even unnecessary, I felt.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the main problems I
Sure.
had with the film.
Got it. But it looks amazing, which
Yeah, it
is
looks amazing. As
I
yeah.
mean, they use the geography so well, I would say, and practical effects. Practical effects.
Hmm.
Practical effects is something amazing for the film, for this
Sure.
film. I mean, even for a big budget starrer like Vijay or Ajit does this, they use a lot of CGI. But
Mhm.
now with this film, I understand why they have gone with the practical effects and practical effects with the stunt sequences
Sure.
and the
even
way it was.
even the dust, how even that was, there's this
Mm.
shot where I think Dhanush is standing in front of some, I don't remember where, some I think a temple or something, and then
Yeah.
there's this shot. I really liked it, and
Sure.
this dust.
I will find it and probably use it as a screenshot for a post.
When
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
told when Adityan told practical effects, suddenly I was
Sure. Got
inspired
it.
by that. So that's
When Adityan mentioned Vijay and CGI, I was immediately reminded of the monstrosity that came out yesterday, that music video.
Oh no, no.
Amartya, best of, not worst of, right?
No.
So, yeah.
Oh God.
No, we are not going to talk about it.
Yes, we are
No,
not.
no.
That
No,
was
please.
bad dream. That was a bad dream. Let's not talk about that. Yes.
Your choice, Amartya. No, your choice, Adityan. Sorry, what Amartya? Adityan, which is Amartya's favorite movie, has been, but doesn't have it on this list. So the way I can say it's one of his favorite movies. Your choice, Adityan. I will pronounce the name if you don't mind. If you want to pronounce, you are happy to. You can pronounce it.
Okay, so my choice for cinematography and another category to this film comes. So challenges by Luca Guadagnino.
Yeah, I have it on the list. क्या कह रहे हो?
I mean, like
challenge.
not the. I said it's one of your favorite films. It's not in your best picture category. List, something that.
That is yeah.
The cinematography is by Sayombo Mukdiprum. If I'm
Mukdiprum,
not
yes.
Mukdiprum,
No, I think it's correct.
He's
Yeah.
he's
He's
an Indonesian.
Pichpong's
My guy. Yeah. Pichat Pong with
Pichpong's regular collaborator, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, and
so,
he's M. Night Shyamalan's
M. Night
cinematographer
Shyamalan's
for
collaborator in Trap. I'm like,
M. Night Shyamalan, yes.
why?
And someone told me that the movie looks terrible, and I'm like, that is impossible. I cannot believe that it looks bad. But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, this film. I mean, I would have said Dune 2, but I mean, Dune 2 is because of the bias I have for the source material and everything, and
Yeah.
I'm not included. But challenges as a film itself, it impressed me. Like, I didn't expect a film of triangular affair story to impress me a lot with its style. I mean, style drives the narrative. In fact, more than the
100%.
All style.
more than the. I mean, if style is done good means if it's done good means you can vouch for it no matter what.
Yeah, of course.
So I would say,
Yeah.
and vouch for it because many of them be like style over the substance. Now, I mean, I
Style is the substance in this.
Style over substance is like just to asterisks, not a big to me.
It's
not a big
bad
complaint.
thing. Also, if done right,
Yeah.
it's not a bad thing.
So I mean, it's not a bad thing actually.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw some of the New Yorker review and
New
IndieWire
Yorker
review
reviews are always salty most of the times. Yes.
No, was it Brody? Because I thought Brody liked Challengers.
Didn't like it.
Brody didn't like it. Brody liked it, Brody liked
He
it.
didn't love it, I think, but
Brody loved
anyways,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So
Brody
he
is
said that.
anyway old enough, and this one is like sure. Okay.
Okay,
So,
anyways.
he said in his one review that he's like a fashion commercial or something. But to be honest, Luca Guadagnino worked in many fashion commercials
Yeah,
too
yeah, yeah. His
in
movies
real
are.
life.
He's a ad filmmaker. I mean,
He's
mostly.
an ad
So,
filmmaker. Yeah, he's an
yeah.
ad filmmaker. And in this film, tennis is actually a cinematic sport, I would say, because
They make it
after
damn
they,
cinematic. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not
in
even going
life,
to bring up. I'm not even going to bring up what I had pointed out in the live stream when I talked about challenges. How the
I
You
mean,
can, you can look
I
at that,
mean,
the sex
yes.
analogy, which the film is all about in any
Oh, it's
case.
all about
okay.
that. Yeah.
Okay, like when I watched Wimbledon live stream in my
Mm-hmm.
projector. So in that, if you are watching it in a projector, means you get it like you are watching exclusively, like it's exclusively you are watching the sport for yourself,
Sure.
exclusively for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how
Exactly. Yeah.
cinematic the sport is. Cinematic
Mm-hmm.
the sport of tennis is actually, I would say. I
Mm.
mean that cinematic quality is he understands the cinematic quality of tennis. Tennis actually
Yeah,
Luka
I
got
think he said that he finds tennis boring.
yeah,
So
Which is why it is.
said
Which
in
is
one
why
of
he tries it so hard to make it
yeah.
cinematic and
he
also
says
correlated to sex.
No,
Yeah.
don't you get a
yeah
POV shot of the ball?
Of the ball, which I love.
undoubtedly. I
I
mean
Yeah.
love.
that he says this televisual stillness,
Okay.
televisual stillness he
Yes.
says,
Of tennis.
and he's
Yeah.
bored
Mm.
about it. So he says that I wanted to make a naturalism on the drive, more kinetic. So
Yes.
he makes it every possible way to make it kinetic. I mean Sayambo Mukdipram, you have
Mm.
he took inspiration Color of Money, Martin Scorsese, the
Martin Scorsese. Mm.
ambience of course, and
Mm.
He took a major inspiration from La Region Centrale. I think that the documentary about the robot arm, which robot
Okay.
arm filmmaking, which is one of the reasons why the ball sequence is like that.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, the company that made it Zero VFX. So
Mhm.
they had to make 23 segments that shot over 5 hour period actually, just
Mm.
for 24 seconds. 24-second sequence. They made 5 hour period. They made 23 segments 5 hour period, and
Yeah.
they had to manipulate all the lighting, post production, and
Mm.
that glass sequence, glass they that transparent bottom shot where both the leads
Yes.
play, and
The
that's
yes,
actually
the low
they
angle
made
sort of.
it
Mm.
they actually made it the glass floor actually, which is
Mm.
another choice that Luca made in Suspiria.
Suspiria.
Sure.
Suspiria
Which, by
another
the way,
great
if
film.
anybody hasn't seen Lucas Suspiria, please do.
Please do watch it.
If
Please
you
do watch
want
it.
to, yes.
But even the 10-minute finale, they took it 8 months to produce the I mean
Great
some
finale.
there's some crazy shots for a tennis match, I would say.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the climax and everything. But
Whatever climax
Literal
means.
climax, figurative climax,
Yeah.
sub tariqa climax. Yes.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
and even speaking of that that ad film, he imported a camera utilized for Italian slow-mo commercials in the 70s and 80s,
Hmm.
which has tons of kilometers of films and 2000
Wow.
fps it captures for that sequence alone.
She's sounding more and more like Kubrick for a moment.
I know. I was about to say, yeah, he sounds more like that.
Yeah, so
Anyways.
he's something just the dedication he puts. But two sequences I would say that captured that blew me the most was one sequence is the sequence where Zendaya, that night sequence where Zendaya and
Yes,
John
yes,
Wick,
The
Josh
that
O'Connor.
storm,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
storm is brewing.
Storm
the storm
sequence.
is
Yeah.
brewing, and
Yes.
that slow motion shot, damn,
Yeah.
best slow
Yeah.
motion cinema,
Yeah.
I would say, best
Yeah.
slow motion. I
Zack
mean
Yeah.
that,
Snyder, eat your heart out.
no Zack Snyder won't come near that sequence. So that's so amazing that the hair just waving around her, and you get a slow motion shot there, and she just moves to Josh and spits on him. That
Hmm.
tension you have, that's something brilliant, and Trent Reznor's score, of course,
I'm
brooding into
surprised
that.
none of you have that also. So,
And,
anyways.
and another scene is the choro scene.
Churro scene. Yes, yes,
Churro
yes.
scene.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he could have gone with the shoulder over shoulder shot, back to back
Yep.
shoulder over shoulder
Yep.
shot. But then he chooses something like close, a medium, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
over the shoulder, and then the over the shoulder.
Yeah.
and that's something that creates a a space between how much the characters interact with
Yeah.
them with
Yeah.
themselves.
I
The
actually think
tension.
some of my favorite scenes are between those two only, as opposed to the
Yeah.
I
triangle.
think
So
Adityan is doing a great job of voicing all my thoughts when I was going to bring up challenges ka editing, because
good.
half of the thoughts are
Because
all.
we are going to speed
Yeah.
through that then.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Editing to. I also have editing challenges in my best editing list.
Fucking snake. Honestly, I'm proud of you. I've been doing the same thing. I'm not doing anything. It's fine. It's exciting to see you this way. So what's been missing from your tennis? What? It's nice to see you lit up about something. Even if that something is my girlfriend.
That's what the two of you are calling each other now.
You know, this just makes it harder for me, right? I'm sitting here.
I would never do anything
I
to get
know.
in the way of you
I
and your
know.
girlfriend.
It's not your style. You're playing percentage tennis, waiting for me to fuck up. Come on, walk me over there.
Achha, yeah, Adityan has it for best editing too. Yeah, that's true. So he's
Okay, so
kind
you
of
voiced
covered
most of my opinions anyway. So it's
covered it
like, yeah.
anyways. I'll briefly cover the cinematography. My favorite cinematography. It's what Amartya was saying. This film looks gorgeous. Yes,
Which one?
I saw the TV glow does look gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I
It's
saw
a
the TV.
genuinely gorgeous
Yes.
looking film. It's shot by Eric Yue. I don't think I've seen any other work he shot. Anyways, you have to create essentially a vibe for this film, and the color palette of this film is gorgeous. It's magenta, purple, blue, which I think is like a lovely, because the blue is basically supposed to be more oppressive. The magenta and pink is supposed to be slightly more liberating. It's all the amount of uh, I think one of my favorite things is how much it uses the lighting from the TV itself. Like the TV ka glow essentially is blue when most of the time, because that's how the reflective surface is like. With the otherwise, the time when the pink opaque shows the show, which is supposed to be their sort of liberation or whatever thing that probably allows them an escape from their reality, then the screen turns pink and like the face, and you see the light reflected on the character, and that turning from sort of blue to pink, magenta, whatever. So there's the vibe of the whole film, I think, is really terrific, and had a had I really like living in that universe. I know, again, I find it very weird to say it in front of Amartya because I know he really didn't enjoy it, but I could have nicely taken my whatever uh
But on and run
sleeping
with it.
bag and gone and slept somewhere in that world for some time. But anyways, yeah. So I saw the DB Glow cinematography is done. Editing, as Adityan said, he already kind of covered. That's by Marco Costa
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Challengers. So he covered
Yes.
it in many ways when talking about the
Yeah.
cinematography. And
Yeah.
just to add, the tennis sequences are wonderfully edited in
Tennis
that.
sequence is
The
outstanding.
rhythm of
Outstanding.
Hmm.
Outstanding sequence.
Yeah.
I also liked
Oh,
because
even you have
editing.
that. Sorry, I
And the
forgot.
I
Yeah.
timeline.
have it in editing.
Yeah.
Yes, challenges. Yeah.
Amazing. Good job, guys. Very quick.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, I just have one or two things to add. One is
Yeah.
the editing is synchronizing the music with the movie itself, and so
Yes, exactly.
how it quickens the pace and showing tension between the players, like when it is
Hmm.
cutting from one Josh O'Connor's one movement of his tennis racket to
Hmm.
cutting back to Mike face movement and doing it seamlessly, or
So it's like when they hit it, it
when they hit
swings
it,
to the
yeah,
other person,
it
right? Or
swings
is
to
it
the
like
other person very quickly, yeah. It's
sure?
also how it is editing back to show sexual climaxing or sexual frustration, but not showing it through the human expression, but through the
Bridge,
breakage or
break
usage of the
points,
yeah,
whatever that thing is. Yeah.
yeah, breakage or usage of the tennis balls
Yeah.
and the rackets,
Yeah.
and it's all down to none of it is like a screenplay or a dialogue notion. It's all visual notion. It's
Yes,
all
exactly.
editing notions, all of it.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, the fact that if you're using slow mo, how better to use slow mo than in the final sequence when Zendaya is crying. Come
Yes.
on,
Wait, so
because
she's not crying, she's
Crying.
she's
climaxing.
not crying. She's crying out like, "Oh, come on," because she wanted to watch a good fucking game. So there you go.
Yes, yeah, but the last moment is her shouting or like climaxing, right? That's the main
Basically,
thing,
yeah,
right?
that's the main thing.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't like the film as much. Maybe that is why I
Okay,
couldn't
wow,
appreciate all this.
it's like a coda at the end. I
Coda,
think.
coda. Yeah.
Sorry,
The
go ahead.
timeline.
No,
I
no.
think I should.
I'm not as big a fan of it as Amartya and Aditya, but I did like it. Yeah.
But
So
I
you,
think I should go back and see it now that you have been speaking so much about it. Now I think I'm
so
starting to
what, like,
appreciate
what did you think of it when you saw Challenges?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I know Aditya is very defensive, I think, about it.
no, I don't think I should discuss.
I
But,
don't care anyway. You
now
guys can
that
talk.
Adityan was mentioning about the cinematography and Amartya
Like,
was
to me, the joys of
saying,
the film are mostly technical and the
Yeah,
yeah,
two male
100%.
that
performances.
now
I
I
think.
think I can agree because now I'm just rethinking. Oh yeah, it was good. So
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
per se like the film as much.
Again, it's
I
like
will go and rewatch
again, it's
it
like
again.
one of the bigger criticisms about this movie is the fact that, not criticism per se. It's like it's a question that which sports are cinematic, and the
Hmm.
correct answer is every sport is cinematic if the director knows how to
Yeah.
make it cinematic.
Yeah.
Some sports need more work.
Hmm.
I'm going to be very impressed when a director can actually make golf
Yeah,
cinematic. I'm going to be
Maidan
very
was
impressed.
good in terms of the
Yeah.
way it was shot, even.
Maidan was quite good in terms of the way the sports sequences were shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any sport can be done well if they, made cinematic, if the director
It's
knows how
about
to do it.
direction, like, again, how you make it.
It's about
I mean,
directorial choices.
yesterday, I don't know if you guys watched Cheng versus that Croatia women's single match,
Oh
Olympic
yeah.
finals. That coverage was something amazing, I would say. The camera
Hmm.
angles were insane. I mean, challenges level, I would say. Some
Oh,
angles were
wow.
like
Maybe they are
challenges.
inspired by challenges.
I mean,
No,
one or two
also,
Wimbledon footages. I mean,
again,
I
it's
mean,
like even the Olympics can be made quote unquote cinematic. Like there is
Yeah.
one movie, there is one biopic
yeah, it's a fair.
directed by Kabir Khan this year, Chandu Champion.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
supposed
okay.
to be decent, no?
It's decent, and
Hmm.
there is one sequence in the final act where Kartik Aaryan's character is doing the swimming, and
Hmm.
that sequence is intermingled with a flashback sequence, which is like edited into the final sequence where he's swimming when he's finally reaching the finish line.
Hmm.
That one sequence is gorgeous. So
Okay.
it's like if the director knows what he wants to show, he can make any sport cinematic.
Sure. Got it. Anyways, I think enough sport for
Yeah.
a film
Hmm.
podcast. But Devi, your pick
Editing.
is editing
Yeah.
for editing. Sorry, yes, is
What's your editing choice? Challengers.
whose?
Dhruv.
No, this is the other one you will be angry at, but okay.
Oh, okay. Acha, ha. Devi, you tell. You tell first. Yeah.
So I have chosen Palavan
Yes.
and
Suraj
directed it
ES,
Suraj
I have.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one is
So,
this?
so this is a Just Joy film. Just Joy is usually known for his feel-good films.
Hmm.
Okay.
This is a thriller. It's
Hmm.
not your typical this edge of the seat kind of a thriller.
Okay.
And it's a decent movie. It's nothing, it's nothing
Okay.
beautiful. It's nothing,
Hmm.
nothing to like exactly talk about.
Hmm.
But why I liked it is even it's somewhere I felt like even with that storyline, even with that,
Hmm.
even with that direction, or even with
Hmm.
that narration, uh, it does. The editing is so smooth. It's
Sure.
somewhere I read that it should be invisible. It should be invisible. It should be
Yes.
smooth.
Yeah.
Somewhere it is that, and so you see even more than the cuts, you somewhere feel okay. It's like he knows where to hold it, so
Sure.
that
Hold a shot and when to not.
yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
So
Which is a lost art nowadays.
Yeah. It's very much.
so
If someone knows how to do that, that's a big thing. Yeah.
even with the normal, even with the very usual or casual, it's about a controversial case
Hmm.
where two police officers who
Hmm.
are actually they're very they're honest cops. They're
Hmm.
good, but they're very stubborn. So
Hmm.
they have issues in between. but
Hmm.
they get involved in this controversial case,
Okay.
and we are actually that it is being retold. It's a retelling of that case.
Okay.
It's and then, as I said, it's a decent story. It's nothing
Hmm.
very unusual,
Hmm.
but it's still, if uh, you are managed to be kept hooked into
Hooked. Yeah.
that, somewhere I think it is because of the pace, it's because of the editing.
Sure. Yeah.
So I personally liked it, and there's a lot of like moments where you are excited, where you
Where is it? Is it available online?
yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
So Netflix.
Is
Okay.
it?
Netflix,
Okay.
or I'm not sure, but it is available on OTT.
Thala
So,
one, right?
Thalavan. Yes.
yeah.
Wait. Thala one, I don't think it is available
It's
now.
not? Okay.
No. It will soon be available for streaming on Sony Live.
Sony
Okay.
Live. Okay,
Okay.
I thought
Okay.
it was
Okay.
already on Netflix. So I
Okay.
watched it in the theaters.
Cinemas. Okay. Yeah.
So even without that kind of an excitement, if you can pump up your
No, absolutely.
so
Like,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. It's to do with the
it's
pacing
because of
and
how crisp the editing is.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is
Okay.
precisely
Done.
because of the editing I chose the movie.
It sounds very much like Kannur Squad, which is a movie I am
Kannur
not a
Squad,
massive fan
is
of, but I
it?
like it fine. I like it fine. I think
Okay,
Mammootty is
okay.
terrific in it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mammootty is terrific in it.
We will talk about him again more, I think, later. At least when we talk about one of those films
Yes.
which he stars in, which we have also talked about before. Anyways, my pick for this is another favorite of Amartya's, which is again produced by A24 and a very controversial film this year because it made a lot of money, which is Civil War, Alex Garland's Civil War.
Oh God.
Yeah. So which is why I said Adityan will be supporting me in this because he liked the movie. But editing में क्या problem थी अमर्त्य? You like it's
No,
not a
I don't
it's
think
not an
editing
editing
में कुछ
issue.
problem थी. My oh God reaction is regarding the movie
The
का
movie.
messaging itself.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, no, but I mean the movie has been very controversial. Is it a centrist film? It is a left wing, right wing, whatever you want to call it a film.
I don't think वो controversy actually matter करता है. मेरा issue कुछ अलग ही है, but doesn't
Sure.
matter. I think
Okay. No, my point with the editing was what because I was thinking I had I had a different film first, but then I sort of watched parts of it and I was like, I don't think I can put it there for editing, so I'll put it there for something else. But in Civil War, I think one of the interesting things that I noted when I watched it 2 times now, is when you have action, firstly, the action is edited together very well in general. I think there's a lot, like the sense of what is happening, where it is happening, all that stuff is very, very in focus. I mean, of course, I can always point out to the Jesse Plemons sequence, which is still terrifying. Maybe the most.
one of the single most terrifying
Yeah,
sequences.
I've been, like I genuinely very few times want to look away from the screen, and that was one of the few times I just didn't want to be there in the cinema. But I remember always being super impressed, moved, whatever, by the fact that you have these action sequences which are shot in like a lot of them are shot uh, like they are tracking shots or you have the camera moving or something. But then when someone clicks a photo, the image itself sort of replicates that and sort of creates what it might look like for the war photographer to witness this war. And I think the film uses the juxtaposition via editing, of course, of what the view for a war photographer is and what a view for the people who actually, like for us, is actually. And the way it juxtaposes that, I think fairly consistently is something I really appreciated in general from its editing. And in general, I quite liked uh in at least initially how laid back it was, because I thought it sort of escalated in terms of the events, but it wasn't like there is one big event in the beginning, but then after that it sort of lulls its way through a fair bit and then has exciting
Pretty
events.
much like a road film, I would say.
Yeah,
I
road film.
compared it
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
road film.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a road film
Road
only.
film, I would say, and I mean the
Yeah.
choice of soundtrack with the editing choices too. I mean,
Oh yeah, there's a
like
lot
you
of contrapuntal sort of ironic use of
ironic, just like Full Metal Jacket had.
yes.
Yes.
It's a lot of
That
irony.
is one of the
Yeah,
bigger inspirations, I'm
yeah,
pretty sure, about for Civil
yeah.
War. Yeah.
So this is Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket
Mm-hmm.
4. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, not aware. So yeah, so I mean, my pick was more based on that single element of the film, which I did really, really like,
Yes,
because that
I'm.
made me appreciate whatever it was going for in that journalistic angle of the thing more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the
What?
editing in that particular sense was very impressive to me.
Citizens of America, people of the Florida Alliance, and the Western forces of Texas and California will be welcomed back to these United States as soon as their illegal secessionist government is deposed.
You don't know what side they're fighting for.
Someone's trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them.
Okay, so we are done with these categories. We have to move on to direction now. Which Ritin, we can start with you, because I love the movie also, so you can start talking about this. Yeah,
So direction, I think everyone's choices are great here. Actually, I
yeah.
first include Chitu Madhavan of Avesham, but after some mind change, I thought I would include Sriram Raghavan from Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry
Hmm.
Christmas.
Ah,
Hmm.
I mean,
yes.
I
Hmm.
mean, undoubtedly, and undoubtedly, one of, I mean, this year's one of the most one of our meditative experience, I would say, theatrical
Sure.
experiences,
Hmm.
experiences, and for a choice of this, making bringing some kind of romance into a thriller is something that I mean, screenwriting. They say this some advice that you take two different polar opposite genres to make a uh, new story.
Yeah.
They give this advice. I don't know
Hmm.
but by seeing this, I feel like, wow. I mean, so amazed by how this how I mean, he can only conceive a world like this.
Yeah. It is
A
his
Bombay,
world. Yeah.
yeah, a
Yeah.
Bombay that's so out of the Bombay that's set in the 80s or the 90s. I don't know, man, exact 90s, I would say.
I think
90s,
it's
it's
And
more,
90s.
but I
It's
feel it's more
90s.
timeless only. It's more like a
timeless,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Sriram
trying to make it
The,
Raghavan.
timeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
timeless, just like, I mean, another film also I watched this year, Fallen Leaves too, where the spatial and
Ah, Kiko Viswanath, yeah.
Hmm.
temporal setting is not, that doesn't matter
Yes.
really. It
Yeah.
shifts, and you can
Yeah.
set it anywhere.
I think the
And
past ka setting is mainly to avoid, the
yeah,
in modern
for
technology
modern
wala stuff,
technology, yeah,
where
yeah,
Hmm.
that makes
Because
mysteries
modern
automatically
technology is the
easy.
biggest enemy of any screenplay. That is one
Yeah.
of
yes,
the big.
exactly.
Except if your decision to leave, but fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
agree.
Yeah, so that
Sorry,
was
that
very great.
mention has to
I
be
mean,
there,
Hmm.
but yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it's a Sriram It only can be made only by Sriram Raghavan. It can only be made in Sriram Raghavan's mind. The whole film itself,
I
from its
didn't think he
mystery.
had this much of a romantic bone in him, to be very
Yeah,
honest, but
yeah.
uh, I
Obviously, the
I was surprised. Yeah.
first half full of some great exchanges, some great funny exchanges between the leads.
Yeah.
The chemistry.
I'm not as
I,
massive a
I
fan of this movie as you guys. I mean,
Huh.
I really like the movie.
Yeah,
Huh.
same.
I'm a
Yeah.
Raghavan
I
fan.
also like
Hmm.
the movie.
I like the movie, but
Fan of
like
Sriram
Hmm.
people are
Raghavan, but
raving
yeah.
about this like
uh,
it is one of the most romantic
No, I
things.
don't think. I think it's
Yeah,
to me it's again the idea of
hmm.
we don't get romances. I
that
think
is
in
true.
general.
That is
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
100% true.
obviously.
I was taken aback by, because I watched it the first time. I was like, oh, it takes that much time for the romance to brew and everything. And I was like, I was really enjoying both the characters' company.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah.
shocked by Katrina Kaif's performance, right? Because I
Yes,
was like,
exactly, exactly.
what,
You know what
how,
this movie reminded me of?
yeah.
You know what this movie
You say
reminded me
I
of?
know which movie it reminded you of, which is why I think. But your reference point is weird, because I think for me it reminds me of Decision to Leave and all this stuff. So it's
I don't remember what movie did I tell you it reminded me of.
Jane Ja, right?
Oh yeah. No. I'm not talking about that at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
Which movie?
कौन मनुष फिल्म का नाम
Okay,
भूल गया
fine. Yeah, sorry.
यार
Yeah.
bloody worthless film. Anyway, another movie which I wanted to talk about, which I was reminded of because you are hanging out with the characters, is there are two movies. It's one is John Wayne's Rio Bravo, and
Oh
yeah,
wow. Okay, old school. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
John Wayne's Rio Bravo.
Hmm.
Watch Rio Bravo. It is
Hmm.
surprisingly very romantic,
Okay.
and yeah, and the other is surprise, for a movie which I don't like at all. I'm
Oh, I
very
know
very
which
clear
one
on
is
this
coming
movie.
here.
Yeah,
Yes.
Once Upon a
Yeah.
Time in Hollywood.
Oh, that. I didn't think that was coming, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
No, but
oh,
I just okay. So I mean,
how the
Adityan, you go.
characters hang out and how the movie takes its sweetest time to ensure
Hmm.
that you are hanging out with the characters and you're
Yeah.
understanding the relationship that is developing between them.
Yeah.
You know, that is quite
Yeah.
surprising and actually, I don't know, welcoming. It is a far better movie than the original French movie. That much I can tell you.
You've seen the original French
Yeah,
movie, right?
it is
Yeah.
better than the original French movie. That
Mm-hmm.
much I can tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Because
in
it's in.
its handling
Mm.
of the twist, even in its handling of the twist, revelation, and everything else.
Sure. But no, Adityan,
Yeah.
you go ahead. I'll
Yeah.
lavish more praise later.
Yeah. I mean, Sriram Raghavan. It's Sriram Raghavan's game all the way. I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
he can
He's
only
I think
he
he's
can.
maybe our best, one of our
He
best
might be,
directors
yeah.
easily. Yeah.
Might
He
be,
right now
Yeah.
contemporary directors. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because very
He
few
could have
people.
done it. He
haircut.
could have.
What haircut? Baki kaun hai?
Currently, I guess because no,
Baki
I was
code.
taking into account someone like I think Vikramaditya Motwan is very good.
I think
Yeah.
Kashyap, if he moves his hair out of his ass, might get
But
into
that is
might
not
get
happening
back, yeah.
anytime
Yeah.
soon. No.
Yeah.
Dibakar Banerjee, I would say, is a fantastic
Divakar
director in
Banerjee, yes.
Bollywood. So yeah.
So we have 4. You also like Vasan Bala. I don't. So
I
like
like
Vasan
Vasan Bala, but I don't think he's the best filmmaker or even close to. I think he's
Hmm.
too much of a Sriram Raghavan
he's a Sriram
imitator.
Raghavan light.
For
He's
me
Sriram
to
Raghavan light.
really think that he's that good.
Hmm.
So, anyways,
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Any other thoughts on Merry Christmas?
I mean,
Anyways, we're going to
I
talk about it again in 2 minutes time. I think not
yeah,
2 minutes, but 5 minutes.
So
Yeah,
I mean that climax is enough to say how much
Yes,
I
there's no
love the
words,
climax.
lovely. Lovely climax.
there's anything, and you get everything, every knots are closed, every knots are closed. So that's
Yeah.
something, that's only one
It's
that
also
For a
just
thriller, it is
thriller.
too neat. For a thriller, it
Yeah,
is too
yeah,
neat.
from
But
a
for a
thriller,
romance, it works. For a romance, it works.
yeah,
And
exactly. For a,
just putting Katrina and opposite Vijay
Oh,
Sethupathi.
yeah.
Yes.
Such a beautiful
that's
choice.
something weird. That's something weird of a directing choice.
Yeah.
सब लोग कितने खुश हैं ना?
हाँ,
उनको लगता होगा कि हम भी इतने खुश हैं।
मैं तो खुशी हूँ। आप?
जेरोम डेफिनेटली बहुत खुश है।
जरूर।
एनी के पापा, माय हस्बैंड। और मैं अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड की बस्ती में क्रिसमस मना रहा है।
In life.
Yeah. I know. The night is darkest just before dawn. वो है ना?
I made the mistake of watching an old Katrina Kaif movie after Merry Christmas.
Shouldn't
Not
have.
because of her, but I just saw her. I was like, how has Sriram
Please don't
Raghavan
tell me it
pulled
was
this off?
Jab Tak Hai Jaan.
It is
For
Jab Tak
you.
Hai Jaan
Oh,
by
Christ.
yes, Chopra. So yes,
She
she's
was
better
good
in.
in
That movie
she was
wasn't good.
really good.
All due
Yeah.
respect to the great Yash Chopra, but that movie
No,
wasn't
she's
good.
not good in that movie at all. So,
Yeah.
anyways, Sriram Raghavan, you're a great director. You should come to a podcast sometimes. We can discuss movies.
We can discuss
I
noir.
know you love movies. We love
We can discuss
movies.
noir.
We can discuss
Yes.
Hitchcock. You know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but Devi, we will move to you because you also have a full, like a blast of a movie in many ways. I would say, like full of. Is it full of references? Also full of,
Yeah.
it's
Oh boy.
boisterous, loud,
Oh boy.
whatever.
I think I understand which movie she's going for.
Yes. Go ahead. इसमें
Yeah,
थोड़ी ना डरने की बात है. अच्छी picture तो है.
somewhere the obvious choice, like how Aditya was
Yeah.
telling. Because it's so good in
Oh
every
no, you can mention the name.
how
I don't know if people understood.
Avesham,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chittu Madhavan.
Yeah.
So somewhere I think that finally the credit, whether the movie fails and whether the movie succeeds, everything it goes to the director. So
Mm.
if every department is good, then probably he should get the credit also for
Yeah.
that. Only because of that, I'm choosing this film, and it's in that sense
No, I
it's
think you and Sanjeet made a great case. But I remember I listened to the whole episode, right? So Sanjeet and Devi make a
Yeah,
great
it was.
case for their love for the movie. And I, for the first time, was like, I can't believe how much I support Amartya and whatever he was countering you with. Because I really like the movie. It's not that I don't like the movie. I really like it, but I have reservations what Amartya has essentially of the film. So, but no, if you want to like have a full, extended discussion of the movie, we have discussed it in full
Exactly. We have
in that
already
episode.
done that.
A massive discussion, on
Yeah.
that.
I
So,
still believe it's very unconventional as an entertainer also,
oh,
because
absolutely.
how the character is, even Ranga, even like how, even that simple thing of, coming away from home and
Yeah.
you expect a certain kind of life or a certain
Hmm.
kind of freedom. And then the reality is entirely different, starting from the
exactly.
hostel rooms to even the so-called alcohol and things like that, like how it's going to
All the moments that signify freedom, right? College life, freedom, and all that stuff. Yeah.
But it's not that, and in the end, it actually, that is somewhere what I got from the film. It establishes that it is not what life, or it's not what freedom is about. It's not what friendship is about.
Yes.
So that's one point I really liked about the film. And even in the same pattern it does follow in the character also, Ranga. This is the man that these people are idealizing. Like, okay, this is the the man, but what he really is and what he,
I think that
breaking him
character and
down.
creation is maybe one of the highlights of the year
One
for
of
me.
the one of the highlights. One of the highlights of original characters being
Yes.
created. I think more than a sequel to Avesham, I think we can expect a spin-off more likely for Ranga.
Ranga,
Yeah.
Ranga and Shami both should be played by
that performance,
Fahad Fasiq.
Ranga and Amban.
Amban.
And
Nani,
even
Shami
having
from, I was saying from Kumbalangi.
Kumbalangi.
Yeah.
Amban's
So
performance.
good. Yes.
He's so good. Yeah.
The
Anyways.
excessively loyal Amban.
Yes.
दोस्त हो तो ऐसा.
Shall I? Anna, ready. ഒന്ന് പൊട്ടിക്കാൻ പാടേ അന്ന് സ്റ്റക്കായി തോന്നണം യൂസ് ചെയ്യാത്തോണ്ടേ
Can we go from the absolutely loud and boisterous to the absolutely meditative and calm, Amartya?
Yes, please.
You can go for it.
Tran unhungs the taste of things, which is...
This is Amartya qualifying a 2023 film as 2024. We are not going into the nitty-gritties of what qualifies and what doesn't qualify.
See, the nitty-gritty factor here is that availability is a big choice here. And
I understand.
And availability being what it is, this movie did not come out quote-unquote online also until 2024.
Yeah.
So I am putting that, I am utilizing my accessibility and my availability.
Absolutely. No, that's fine.
Yeah,
Listen,
so that
I
is
have
why
a
I'm
very stupidly reductive way of labeling which movie belongs to which year. So in that category, what some of the movies you have are for me 2020. Anyways, I'll get into that when we are talking about some of my honorable mentions, because they are similar in this.
I think this year is more. This year has been a bit more chaotic in that regard as well, because it's like availability has been at all-time low for many of these movies in this case.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead. Remove the technicalities. Why Taste of Things? Yes.
Why Taste of Things? Because it is gorgeous. It is a movie about food. It is a movie about the intricacy, about process orientation, all these things which I love. It is a movie about describing the physical process of making a gourmet dish. And it is a process of expressing love through the choosing of ingredients, through the correct curation of all those ingredients. And through that making of food, and how the making of the food conceptualizes the love expressed between a chef and his muse. It is all done through a screenplay which doesn't almost exist at all, because
it's a very standard screenplay actually.
It's almost sparse.
Just
It's
vibes, man. Just vibes. No plot, just vibes.
Just vibes. Yeah.
Fully vibes. It's all sparse, and it's all down to Anhang's understanding that the beauty of food is as seductive as the most seduction heavy erotic
Yeah.
moments in a erotic movie.
Yeah.
And there are some editing choices in this movie which is
yeah.
absolutely spectacular.
Spectacular. I mean,
I also you
all the
mentioned.
conversations are single shot.
I was about to
Most
say.
of the conversations are single shot.
I was about to
Yeah.
say
Nothing
that
like-
of course the edit you're mentioning is the pair to
The pair
Juliette
to
Binoche's
Juliette Binoche.
posterior,
Yeah.
but
It's a love story.
love story.
It's a love
You will
story.
like it. Don't
love
worry.
story.
You will
Don't
like
be
it.
averse
You will like
from
it.
Food and love.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's food and love basically. It's
No, but I
it's a
think one of
commingling of that.
Mere mention of food, suddenly I go to the bear.
This is not the bear. This is
No,
the
no, this is
antithesis of the bear.
so one of the
No,
great
no,
things
not yet that.
about I remember because what you guys mentioned the first time I watched it, I was like, I love just how little background score there is. Firstly, I was just like
Yes.
the feel of the kitchen, the way every
Yeah.
ingredient is picked and rolled and prepared and everything. You just the
watched it in theater?
tactile almost what you call tactile
You watched it-
direction.
You watched it in the theater.
I watched it at home. I didn't
You,
watch it in the
Amartya,
cinema.
you?
Home.
Home. Okay. I watched it. I am fresh off the oven. Now only watched it in theater. So that's
Yeah,
why
you just
I-
watched it today, right? Yeah.
Yeah, theater
okay,
as we are recording. So
It is available online, Devi, if you
online
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
It's available
definitely
online too. You can check it out, guys. But if you are having if you are watching it in home, sweet advice is just put on your headphones or
Headphones,
have
yes.
a 5.1 surround sound system with a great TV setup and watch it because something
Also-
ASMR is the sounds I would say.
Yeah.
It's so soothing and fully with the cutting and everything. It's
A
amazing.
great
It's amazing.
sequence
Great.
of Benoit Magimel making food for Juliette Binoche. One of the great.
One of the more romantic
romantic-
sequences you will ever see this year.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, Amartya,
Both of
undoubtedly.
both of them
Undoubtedly.
were partners, I think.
Both of them were partners, and I think that chemistry shines throughout.
Yeah.
It's like it brings in an invisible context to their
Also,
relationship overall.
Juliette Binoche.
Yeah.
Also, Juliette Binoche. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
come
You
on.
don't need
Juliette
any
Binoche.
other reason.
You don't
Just
need
watch
it.
Juliette Binoche. She is like,
Yeah,
I mean-
Juliette Binoche is one of the reasons why Claire Denis' weird sci-fi movie, I think, is one of the best movies I've seen. Like High Life, that movie is so weird.
She's got that presence to her, at least.
Yes.
Juliette Binoche has. So
Juliette Binoche, amazing man, amazing.
Yeah.
Both the leads were amazing. Both the leads were
even
great. Both the
Benoit
leads.
Magimel is fantastic.
Benoit Magimel is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Also,
My
his
favorite-
protege, the young woman who is playing his protege, she's very
Protege,
good.
she's a-
Pauline.
yeah.
She's
That
very
girl was also
Yeah.
amazing.
Very
Yeah.
But my favorite moment in the film would be that I mean a lot of moments. As you said that first, Amartya said that moment is the top. The second is that the scene where they both wander in the forest and talk to each other.
Yes,
That
yes,
single
yes.
single drama. I mean, any of they could have gone for more cuts for conventional thing, but
You-
that's so single shot drawn out.
Here's the
Lingers
thing.
on your thing.
Here's the thing about romantic movies nowadays is the fact that many of these romantic movies are all about dopamine high through attaining of the romance. Longing within the romance is not being shown in movies at all. Once upon a time, Bollywood used to be good at it. Now Bollywood has forgotten it. नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है longing के नाम पे.
Yes.
Because I'm bringing this up because I'm watching a lot of older Bollywood movies now. So again, even in quote unquote masala movies of the 70s and everything, all those romances with the songs
फोन
and
नहीं
everything.
था ना सर.
एक तो फोन नहीं था और
हाँ.
दूसरा बात they understood what longing meant, even in romance.
You sound like a 70s boomer. at this
Yeah, I
point.
sound like a
Old
boomer.
school,
I
old
sound like a
school,
full boomer. Yeah.
But
old
no, but I
school.
totally agree. Like the whole long, I mean, that is one of the reasons I do love Merry Christmas, because there is
Merry
longing
Christmas
in
has
that.
so much. Yeah.
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 Anyways, but my favorite direction is Kiyoshi Kurosawa for Chime, which is a
Chime. Yes.
45-minute, 44-minute
44-minute movie, 44-minute
movie,
short film, which was made
TV
for an
pilot,
NFT company,
whatever it is.
which was
You
made
know,
for an NFT.
it was made for an
Wow.
NFT.
Yes.
Wow,
What?
okay.
What?
But it's okay, whatever. It is so, but the
I
point
mean,
is, so this is kind of cheating actually, because the point with this short slash feature is that the film's script is very bare bones. Like there's barely, they don't explain what the causation of the things that are happening are. It feels like you'll
So
have
a
two,
Kiyoshi
three,
Kurosawa movie.
it's like 2, 3 episodes you'll get extra later on, which will explain, but of course you won't ever.
Is it
But
Yes.
available online?
I
It's
will
available
send you.
online. Yeah, yeah. It is. It is.
this one?
Yes,
Yeah.
this one.
You
Yeah.
have to watch it quote unquote online only, because you won't be able
It's
to access
nowhere else.
Roadstead. You won't be able
Yes.
to access Roadstead, that
Yeah.
app in which only this movie exists.
Yeah.
No other movie exists in that app.
No, but see, the point is, this is one of those things which you say, which I think earlier the definition of auteur theory was based on this whole thing that
A
the
director's
writing is,
voice.
yeah, the writing is kind of substandard, but then you
Hmm.
look at the direction and how they pull it into a different stratosphere through the
Hmm.
sheer visual style and direction of it. This is essentially that movie, like that
Hmm.
type of movie. And I think that, and I actually think, because it's a horror film about sort of, well, a gentle horror film or unnerving horror film about
It's
something like,
unease. It's
it's
more unease.
dread. It's
Hmm.
dread, unease, everything. So you hear, someone hears this chime sound essentially and thinks that that drives them crazy. Like that's one
Yes.
part of the head is a machine or something, and then they have to like well, carve that out and almost explore that. But that sort of, it feels like it's like a virus essentially. It sort of transfers into people.
It's not as very direct or visceral like, say, Shunji Sukamoto's Tetsuo the Iron Man. It's not as direct
It's
as that.
all, it
It's
feels
all
like it's
vibes. It's all
it
vibes.
all feels like it's in the environment somehow,
Yes.
like, and that's why it becomes a directorial showcase. Like, just, I mean, if anyone wants to know how people move a camera, or how people,
Yes.
to
Or how
create
people
unease,
utilize sound. How
sound
people
to,
utilize
or
sound.
reflections, like, this whole thing of this trains passing by every 1 or 2 seconds in the place where he's teaching his cooking class. There's a cooking class that the main character is teaching. He's supposed to be a big cook and everything. He has a family. He has students. One of the students is that person I said about the chime sound, who wants to thinks that one half of his head is
Brain
a
is a
machine
machine. Yeah.
machine or so, something like that. But where you open the film and you open, like, the film opens with the camera, like, going, panning down from like an air vent, and just the sound of the air vents itself feels very sinister. Like there is a sinister quality to it. Then
It's again part of the thesis that Kurosawa has been utilizing throughout, like,
yeah,
ever
his
since J-horror.
urban
Yeah,
almost.
ever since J-horror came into focus, and Kurosawa's obsession with
We have another
describing.
episode on this. You can go
Yeah,
and
we have
listen to
another
that.
episode on this. Yes.
Yes.
But ever since, like, J-horror came into focus, and how urban horror,
Yes.
basically how technology is affecting us in insidious
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
that has always been his focus. It has been his focus in Cure. It has
Yeah.
been his focus heavily in Pulse.
Yeah.
And Time feels like the unholy
Yeah.
child of the two of
Yeah,
them.
and Chime May, I think we've reached a point where the causations only have sort of manifested, like they aren't there. You can't see them. They've already manifested
Yeah.
within,
Which is
the
my quote-unquote frustration with
problem,
the movie.
which is
But
okay. Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
I actually think some of the weaker parts of his films are when it goes into
when it goes
explanation. So I
explanation,
was
yeah.
like, but there's just, again, I'm just saying from a pure filmmaking point of view, there's this shot which is like, the camera goes up and it just keeps on tracking this guy who's running and running and running, and you just don't like the idea that you can't understand something, that
It's even
itself is
more
scary.
uneasy.
Yeah, because
It's
you
even more
don't know
uneasy, yeah.
what the threat is. Like his child starts laughing in one scene, in the other one he's literally just calm. Then there's this whole idea of trash cans, like the sound of trash cans cleaning, someone cleaning trash cans, and when they hit like bottom of the trash bin or whatever they hit, it feels like it's like someone's
It's an
poking
echo.
at you.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
very strange, very weird, but it
If
feels
somebody
very,
wants
very.
to, if somebody wants to learn how to utilize digital camera and desaturated color palette effectively,
Yes.
this is one of those
Yeah.
movies.
Very few people can create this. Like, I think he's just a very confident filmmaker.
Yeah,
Like, he's,
100%.
yeah. And he just knows, and again, that he also knows how to, um, like he doesn't use handheld camera much at all, actually. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot to do with control.
Yeah,
Everything is controlled in many ways in terms of
fully
aesthetic.
auteur in that regard.
Yeah, fully outward. Yeah. Anyways, that's my sort of direction ka thingy. Honorable
That
mentions, guys.
also
Sorry.
that also has a food angle to it, I think.
Yeah, that has a food, but there's little
But that is
food
like in the first sequence, more or less. But
first. Yeah,
it's not about the food, it's about the
it's more about the
instruments making the
knife.
food. It's more
Yeah.
about the knives, it's the sound
Yes.
of the knives. It's like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or chopping, even
Or
chopping
chopping, yeah.
onions and everything, and
It's a
that
very
hitting
uneasy
the.
movie. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like
very
I've
uneasy.
never been able to get it off my mind, like some sequences and parts of it. So yeah, I've kept it here. But honorable mentions, I don't
We
know.
have
Adityan
talked
is
about it in detail in one of our live
live
streams.
stream. So yeah, this is basically a hyperlink. You can basically plug every episode for each of the things. But anyways, honorable mentions. I will begin with Adityan because he's kind of
Okay.
mentioned one of them in any case. But yeah, we can go through these quickly as opposed to
Okay.
super in detail. Yeah,
Okay. Music.
just name
Okay.
drops
Okay.
maybe. Yeah,
Okay. Music. Fallen Leaves. Fallen Leaves. Undoubtedly. I mean the
Akiko
soundtrack was
Rustami, that is
Akiko
on
Rustami
Mubi, playing on
movie
Mubi
right
right now.
now.
Yeah.
I watched it in Bangalore Film Festival. And
Hmm.
another film I watched in Bangalore Film Festival is it's a documentary editing 7 Winters in Tehran. I
Yeah.
would really want to
Yes, yes,
mention
yes, yes, yes.
7 Winters. It's not available anywhere. It's
Mm.
only in only now in the festival circuit. So
Okay.
it
Mm-hmm.
will take time, I guess, to
Let
get
us
into
star
OTT.
that and then look at it whenever it comes
So
out.
Yeah, yeah,
the
exactly.
editor is name is Nicole Kurtluk. So her editing choice is absolutely amazing
Sure.
for a documentary. And in theater, watching it in the theater is more amplified. The subject itself is too harrowing to say the least. I mean,
Yeah.
Rena Jabari. If search Rena Jabari's
Mm-hmm.
sentencing in
Sure.
court. So I don't want to reveal anything. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
available anywhere, so I don't want to reveal anything. But
Yeah.
it's great of a editing choice, I would say, with the sounds and ambience.
Sure.
For a documentary, it's great actually.
Yeah, I
For a
mean,
documentary,
documentaries can be very experimental. People, if anyone
Mm-hmm.
wants a
I mean,
list about the experimental documentaries,
yeah,
I'm again,
Amartya and
yeah.
I'm both of us are huge fans of that. So
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So
yeah.
cinematography, two films. One already Amartya mentioned, Furiosa,
Ah,
Simon Duggan, and Kalki,
yes. Ah,
2898 AD.
sure,
Yes.
George Stoljic.
sure.
I'm not getting the name, but
Yeah,
he's a Croatian,
yeah,
Serbian filmmaker. So okay,
yeah,
that's it.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Devi.
Yeah, so as Adityan said, Kalki would be
Yes.
for cinematography also. I love the film's
Mm-hmm.
work, and Anja Kalla Kukkan is the other film.
Yes, the
So
one which you are not confident if you're pronouncing correctly. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I still am not, but I
Okay.
like the film.
Yeah.
In the sense, it's one of those style over substance. One something we had discussed earlier, right? Style
Mm-hmm.
over substance kind of. But it is a very stylish film, and
Hmm.
I really like the cinematography of this film.
Cinematography. Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and the performance of I just wanted to
Yeah, yeah,
mention
go ahead.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So there are these two brothers in this.
Okay.
They are called Gilapis.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the actors are amazing.
Hmm.
Even if it is for just their performance, I think you should watch the film.
Hmm.
So yeah, these
Okay.
are my mentions. And Lover, that Adityan mentioned
So,
for music.
sure. Yeah.
I love the film, and
Hmm.
I see it more as kind of how do people grow out of something that
Hmm.
breaks them, and I really
Hmm.
loved it. I really loved it.
Amartya, we have to watch this.
Yes, we have to
Yes.
watch this. Yes.
Yeah. But Amartya, yes, you go ahead with your honorable
Okay,
mention.
I'm going to be very quick because
Yes.
considering the fact that so many movies, I'm going to be very quick.
Hmm.
Don Palatra's family,
Hmm.
this director, why are you not releasing this movie?
Hmm.
If you guys have seen Spotlight, this is basically kind of that. I don't want to spoil anything about this movie,
Sure.
but it is about a kind guy who is a good Christian,
Okay.
but his goodness is hiding something about him which the church is also willing to hide.
Sure. Sure. Got it.
So,
Okay.
and it is almost horrifying in how insidious it is.
Sure.
So that is Family.
Hmm.
Another recommendation in terms of screenplay, which Dhruv had recommended this to me, The Last Stop at Yuma County.
Oh yeah. Fun
Great
movie.
screenplay, neo noir, kind of like a Coen Brothers movie,
Coen Brothers. Yeah.
kind of like a Coen Brothers movie. Recommendation number 3, New Man, New
New
Life.
Life.
New Life, John Rossman's movie, which is about a mysterious woman who is on the run, and resourceful fixer is assigned to bring her in. This is set during a quote unquote pandemic. This starts off as a pandemic movie, but then evolves into something entirely different. It is like one of those movies which are being released nowadays where it is disguising the actual horror movie genre within a dramatic movie umbrella,
Like a good elevated horror.
like a good elevated horror, yes.
Sure.
And
Okay.
this is much better. This is very well done.
Okay.
uh
Got it.
Two Malayalam movies, another recommendation. One is Manjumal Boys. In terms of editing, the final 1 hour of that movie is top notch. It
Okay.
is so good.
Hmm.
And another Malayalam movie which I'm shocked nobody mentioned, but it is one of the best friendship movies, and this is Friendship Day,
Premalu.
apparently. Yes, Premalu.
Okay.
Beautiful,
Why? What were you
beautiful
shocked? You should have mentioned it.
beautiful movie. What a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to stop because there are a lot more, but doesn't matter.
Yes, Amartya has watched too many movies, so we are not
Yes.
going to allow more recommendations from him.
Yes.
I have two, and these two I'm using essentially these released in 2024, but I watched them in festivals in not festivals. I watched them at the best festival in the world in 2023. So,
Yes.
I watched it at Mami, both these films. Didn't like them as much as I liked them after I watched them again. So Mami had something
That
wrong
should
with
be
them.
that should be the indictment of the
Yes,
festival.
exactly. But the first film is Evil Does Not Exist by Ryusuke Hamaguchi. I'm especially recommending the music of the film because I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous soundtrack. The soundtrack is very key to the film. Everything in the film, which is a eco parable, and is supposed to
Okay.
be like a very mysterious eco horror. He's a disciple of Kiyoshi Kurosawa, so he exercises all that unease, dreadful,
Okay.
dread, and everything, through camera work, through sound editing, and everything. But the soundtrack by I'm gonna butcher this name, but I'm extremely sorry. Aiko Ishibashi, I think is that the name of the music director. But it's a gorgeous, gorgeous soundtrack. So that is a big recommendation. And the other one, as we mentioned before, is The Beast by Bertrand
Bertrand
Bonello,
Bonello, yes.
which is what Devi said. SSHP is like the movie which she recommended the music for, Don Vincent. So this is The Beast is like a decade spanning love story essentially of.
I need to see this.
So this is basically Martin Scorsese's Age of Innocence meets David Lynch's whole filmography meets Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it's like a mixture of everything. It might absolutely fall apart for everyone, but it worked. On my second watch, it worked wonders for me. So I thought it was wonderful. I had put this down for my performance essentially for Lea Seydoux,
Lea
an
Seydoux?
actress who I don't love, but
The name of the film is Beast.
The Beast.
The Beast.
Yeah, Lea Seydoux, who I don't love in general in her big projects like MI4 and what is the not
James
MI4,
Bond, No Time to Die. No Time
in
to Die
James Bond.
Inspector.
Yeah, I've never clicked with her in those. I didn't even like her in Crimes of the Future by David Cronenberg.
I also
But
don't like the movie that much. It was good, but
yeah,
it wasn't
no, I
that
don't like
good.
her. I'm saying I like the movie more than you, I think. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it was fine.
but no, in this she is just again her and George McKay both have to play three different characters. Both of them, he's also amazing. But she has to firstly carry what she's known for, the really placid sort of. She doesn't have any expression, almost like a bitch face throughout, essentially. And like she's someone who's repressing everything, but then she gets to play against type, and I think the performance against type was what surprised me more than the ones which we are used to. But there's one particular scene in The Beast where she has to basically keep a straight face, and she literally looks like a doll. And I was like they are making, the idea is about doll creation in any case in that particular segment, and that comes right. Anyways, it's a great film. Not for everyone, but why would you have a film which works for everyone, sort of like that? It's a great film, like a really, no one, you won't see a film like this, is my pitch, I suppose. It's very unique. uh you might hate it, but then you can come at me, which is okay. But yes, those are our honorable mentions. Our best pictures, I don't know how much we need to discuss these, but we will go through them. Fair enough. Adityan, go for it. We've already mentioned it a bunch of times, but um you can
Dune 2,
mention it again.
Dune 2, Dune 2,
Dune,
undoubtedly Dune 2, Dune 2.
Dune Part 2. This is going to be your favorite film for the whole year, you think?
Yeah, of course, man. Nothing would top the theatrical experience I got from this film.
You've watched it
Nothing
once
would.
only, Abhi tak, or have you watched it again also?
I only watched it once. I'm thinking of watching it again, but I couldn't get the time actually.
Sure,
It's so overwhelming for a narrative of sorts.
sure.
You really get a lot of details into it. Packed into a lot of it, yet it still engages with you.
Yeah.
That's something great, and of course it gets the war commentary right, war commentary and war
Listen Al
commentary.
Gaib, right? That was the
The
whole thing.
Yes,
the
listen, Al
the
Qaib.
prophecy the prophecy how a prophecy is made, how a prophecy is given by the
It's
the
the
elite class.
anti great man story, or whatever. What is it
Yes,
called?
more or
Yeah,
less.
of course, Dune is basically a story of not a hero. It's an
Yes.
anti-messiah story,
Yeah.
and it's the core of what Frank Herbert has been saying a lot of
Yes.
times.
And
Do you
So
because people
buy?
did not understand that's what he wanted to say, he had to write a sequel called Dune
yeah,
Messiah, which is
Dune
even
Yeah, I
Messiah.
was about to
weirder.
ask.
Yeah.
I don't, but because once I'm not going to spoil Dune Part 2 for Devi, but once Dune Part 2 ends, I was like, do we need another part? I think we are done, no? Like in my head, I was like, sure,
I
you
mean,
can
I,
take it somewhere else, but
I
I
mean,
would like, it felt like
uh,
Dune Part 2 felt like it
uh,
could have serve
I
even as a
mean,
conclusion,
Dune
but
Part 1 and Part 2 works as a single whole because the novel
yeah,
itself is
sure,
basically the two movies. That's
two
what
got
the
it,
movies.
full
Yes,
novel
yes,
got
is.
it, got
yes,
it,
yes, yes,
Yeah.
got
yes,
it. Okay.
yes, yes. So, yeah,
Okay,
of
so
course.
Dune 2 again, we've discussed in
The,
detail. I think you guys have discussed also on your podcast, or no?
no,
No?
we didn't
Haven't?
discuss in
Okay. Okay.
podcast, and because Yadu had some differences with the film and the source material of.
Okay.
It's his opinion. It's his opinion.
Sure, sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
After the film, he was like chatting with us in the group chat, like ranting about it. Oh, did we see the same
Same
film?
movie? Yeah, that happens
Same
a
film
lot
that
with the
Yeah,
happens
haters.
a
that
lot.
happens.
That happens a
Yes.
lot with me and Immersive Cinema always. That's something that happens a lot with me and him. But it's his opinion, man.
Yeah, yeah, of
he has his
course,
own
of course.
philosophy. So
Of
I
Hmm.
don't
course,
want
of course.
to.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't have detailed
Fair enough,
podcast with
fair
him.
enough, fair enough. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know when it'll probably be in the, even when we discuss the end of the year list, whenever it is, it'll
Hmm.
probably come back. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it will for some.
yes.
I think it'll come back for myself, which I think is strange. I did not expect
That
it
is
to be
shocking.
so high on my list of best films. So anyways, Devi, we have talked about this movie again a lot, and I will
Lot.
not be rude to it. But yes, you can mention your favorite.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm still stuck in Jan.
Uh,
Bec- yeah, I still Brahma Yugam is my favorite
yes.
Yes.
now because of everything. Probably starting from the palette, the monochrome,
The
choice,
monochrome, yeah.
yeah, the cinematography.
Yeah.
Actually, the cinematographer, it is the same person who did Ullozhukku. I think
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
uh,
Okay. Okay.
I think I'll be looking out more for his work
Mm-hmm.
because he had done something very similar. There's a music video called Funeral of a Native Son. That is also black and white.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
That's one of his first works, I think. So he
Maybe
has.
I will rewatch
Yes.
Brahma Yogam because all of you love it quite a bit.
Hmm.
So maybe I do need to
And of
rewatch it.
course, Mammootty's performance.
He is
Performance.
amazing in it.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Even the
yeah.
soundscape, Crystal
Yes.
Savior, he was
Yes. Yeah.
excellent. So
So,
lot of reasons to love it, yeah. And
folk
even
horror, guys. That's a
yeah, the
very,
max
again, one of the very few movies you will get in the genre also, I suppose. There's
mix
only,
of genres, yeah. And
yeah.
even that space, as I earlier told in the podcast, like I don't know if we can call that spatial horror, or I don't know what.
Yes.
Yeah. He follows that in Bhutakalam also. I personally
Yes.
love that.
Yeah,
That
about
kind of
claustrophobic
genre,
single location sort of,
claustrophobic.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Sure.
Somewhere
Yeah.
even that cinematography in Ullarka somewhere reminded me of that space and how it
Sure.
suffocates. Even
Sure.
here,
Yeah.
the palette even suffocates many a
Yep.
time. How the darkness is
Yep.
used. Same thing actually I felt for Ullarka also. So now that we are talking about it, because even though it's shot in a lighter tone, there is a darkness within, and how
Sure.
it has been handled cinematography. So I absolutely loved
Yep.
it. Not going to
Perfect.
take a lot of time.
നിനക്ക് 2 തവണ വിധി പണയം വെച്ച് കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് രണ്ടും പകിടം. ഒക്കെ ഭാഗ്യമൂല്യ. ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് രണ്ടും പകിടം. ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് കരുക്കള്, ഇത് കരുക്കള്.
ഇത് ഭ്രമയുഗ, കലിയുഗത്തിന്റെ ഒരു അപഭ്രംശം.
Amartya, which we have also talked about in our live stream, but yes, go ahead.
We have talked about this in our live stream, Godzilla -1. I was extremely busy end of June and the entirety of July to watch the entire Godzilla franchise that comprises of 38 movies to make the list.
Insane.
Watching the whole franchise only further showed the greatness of the original movie, because the 1954 movie, after context of watching the entire franchise, the 1954 movie is a masterpiece for me, at least. It is simultaneously a beginning of a genre, progenitor of a genre, the kaiju genre, as well as the collective voice of a country that had been almost destroyed due to a war.
Yep.
And that is the response. It is absolutely gorgeous, and out of numerous sequels that have come out of that original, Godzilla -1 is the closest that evokes the
prequel, no?
magnitude of the original. It is the closest.
Prequel है ना?
नहीं, prequel नहीं है.
नहीं
It is
है,
a
वो
reboot.
sequel. अच्छा,
Sequel
reboot.
भी
Okay.
नहीं है. It is a reboot only,
Okay.
basically.
Got it. Okay.
It is a reboot in that sense that almost all of the movies in the earlier ones, almost all of them would reboot in their eras, but would always keep the original as the first movie. From there, it will work as a sequel. Like,
Sure.
you know, the Halloween का scene था David Gordon Green का कि Halloween original है, फिर उसके बाद
Yes, उसके बाद
2018
सब skip कर देंगे. Yes.
the legacy sequel thing, David
Yeah,
Gordon
yeah.
Green did not bring that up. That was done in Godzilla पहले.
Sure.
So
Okay.
this is like Shin Godzilla. Like Shin Godzilla was a reboot. This is also a reboot, kind of. So Godzilla -1 is a reboot. Godzilla -1 ka change is the original Godzilla was a response to World War II. Godzilla -1 is Japan is already destroyed by World War II. What happens when Godzilla comes immediately after? How is a country that is reeling from that attack? How is that going to respond? It is harrowing, and it is exploring humanity. It is
Much more focused
PTSD.
on the humans.
It is very much focused on the humans.
Sure.
It is exploring.
And the effects are
PTSD.
amazing. It looks
Effects
freaking
are
incredible,
amazing.
right? Yeah.
Effects are amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It captures the gorgeousness. It captures the impact of what a kaiju movie can actually do. You know,
Sure.
very few movies could do that. Very few of the kaiju movies could do that.
どういうことだ。わかりません。何かでかいのか。
あれがゴジラ。
There's a black and white version also. I think
There's a
that
black and
premiered.
white version. I don't know how much. There's a
No one
black
is
and white version. How I don't know how much of it actually works in this case. I
Okay.
still think that the color
Is this
version
the
works
whole
perfectly
where
fine.
I watched Mad Max recently and I was like, why black and white?
I
For
kind of also think that, but
Fury Road.
again, it's like if you are going to evoke the original 1954 ka black and white version, I think
Okay, fair
Godzilla
enough.
minus one kind of becomes like a homage to that.
Okay,
Through that
okay.
lens, it
I
works.
really should catch up to Godzilla minus one. I've been sleeping on it for a long time, but I
Yeah.
will. I will.
It is really brilliantly done.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we will end with a Merry Christmas, I suppose, which we've already mentioned a couple of times. It's my favorite film of the year. And I said this that I'm fine now. Bollywood can take out whatever trash it wants to. I have my one movie of the year which I will carry throughout the year, and I don't want anything else. It's okay. No, but I think Adityan mentioned a lot of things.
Can we please request Bollywood to follow Dhruv's advice and not release any more movies because
They are
none of the
kind
movies
of.
that are coming out.
I mean, there was, in the 70s and 60s Hollywood when they were like, pumping out big budget films, and they couldn't really sustain the losses, and so they wanted to make more mid
So yeah,
budget films.
70s is the
70s,
time, na? Late
I
60s,
think
early 70s is.
Bollywood now can do that actually.
Bollywood needs the
सर
big
उसके लिए
to
सर
collapse, but
उसके लिए नहीं सर उसके लिए ना प्रोड्यूसर्स चाहिए जिन लोगों का
हाँ
माइंडसेट ओपन इनफ है वो
yeah
नहीं
नहीं
है
है अभी तो नहीं है so
अभी
yeah it's
नहीं
a
है
crisis mode but anyways you'll get these films which sort of so I think again as I mentioned before when Adityan was talking about the direction very few love stories so again whenever a good love story comes out uh, and one which I think relies is somewhat twisted I am a very easy sell okay for this stuff did I expect myself to fall for a Vijay Sethupathi and Katrina Kaif pairing? No, I did though, and I think one of the great things, and I will forever defend the film's first half because I think the first half is gorgeous. So I think the first half is the interplay between light and dark, like the way the film goes between them having a great light moment together, then it's shifting towards her as
yes
a femme fatale, then it going again towards them basically singing Raat Akeli Hai throughout as they're moving from the really glittery sort of location, then going to a graveyard. You get these tensions consistently with each other, and I'm just like, it's just a very simple but amazing way of consistently keeping the mystery to me almost bubbling underneath the romance in some way shape or form then you get certain cues you have the MQ which plays once
yes
they are
yes
in the
yes
apartment
halls of
like
the
from
mountain
Fritz
king the
Lang's
hall of the
M
mountain king yeah
all of the Mountain King. So you have like these cinephilic moments which I think are very purposeful. Like they're tongue in cheek, but they also tell you a lot about what is going on throughout the thing. The film looks, I think, terrific. It looks like an old school Hitchcock film, which I think is,
yes
you're like it's his world. It's Sriram Raghavan's world. You are in his cinephilic world. Like I think his references, his love for cinema, and all that is there.
he's
It's
like a
not gimmicky.
mellowed out version of Tarantino in a way
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is like he's
I think so.
utilizing references but he's intermixing them to make his own but
Yeah.
yeah
And
and
I
he's
Like
not
think,
Dhruv
showy
said,
about it
I also love the first half.
yeah,
Hmm.
I can understand. So
Beautifully said.
for me, the film does slip slightly in the second half until it goes into the climax, essentially. Like, so there is
Yeah.
a slip, I think, a little bit after that. But yeah, again, I saw it. So maybe the second time I warmed up even to the second half a little bit more, because I was so much into the first half and. But just the satisfaction of that finale to me is something I genuinely like like that amazement you get. I'm like, how did you manage to, or when all the pieces fall into place, it's just like you've set them up so beautifully and then all of them are
Hmm.
coming into, they're toppling over each other and music choice, I mean, again, fantastic. Whatever music choice, I think it's a classical piece by Vivaldi, if I'm
He's
not
a
wrong.
Vivaldi
Yeah. So yeah, like
Vivaldi.
again, his films, to me, this is like what, like your classic. This is a film I think which I should recommend to everyone, but a lot of people didn't thought it was super slow, and I was just sad. I was like, why are people
Ah,
finding it super slow? Which I'm just like, I don't know. And this is like people who I know like Andhadhun, and of course this is very different to it.
I
Andhadhun is
mean,
a
I saw some reviews which said that, which says that, you know, a comeback of Sriram Raghavan. I'm like, what are you guys saying?
I think this is the sort of thing which a filmmaker actually should do. Like, to me, this is the sort of
Yeah,
swing you take after.
I'm going
yeah,
to say
exactly.
something. I'm going to
Yeah.
say something very unpopular, and this is going to stick on many people's cross, but I'm going to say it.
What?
And that is going to criticize a lot of fans of Maharaja as well. But if you think that Sriram Raghavan, this is not a
Yeah.
good Sriram Raghavan movie, how about you guys go back to your colleges, start
Oh
living out a
God.
frat boy life, and think about watching only screenplay driven thrillers which doesn't have an ounce of emotion? How about that? Because that's what you're looking for. There are shit ton of Korean movies like 2013's Montage, then a lot of other stuff which are only screenplay driven. How about you watch that? Leave all these movies to us. Thank you.
No, but
Bro
okay,
got
that's a
two,
good. That's a emotional
bro got
piece
Homelander.
coming out of somewhere. But no, but I think I don't know if I should. No, I want people at least who are of my parents' age to like this movie. I don't know why. Like, I felt very sad when they didn't like it. I was like, why did you think this was slow? This was such a. I thought it was very wonderfully paced, right? So, uh,
Mhm.
but. Uh, but no, I guess too, and also it didn't do well. So I was like, there's like a slight disappointment in terms of how this type of film is received now. This type of film shouldn't be a relic. It should be something which you can still enjoy. I don't think it's something
Yeah,
which,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, again, why? So best then Sriram Raghavan should just release films to Netflix or whatever, because then at least he won't have to care about the box office stuff.
सर
But
पैसा भी तो
I'm
चाहिए ना बंदे को
I
at
think he
least
doesn't
Andhadhun got
care
it, I
about the
would
box
say.
office at this point. I
I
think so, man.
suppose. I mean, this seemed very much like a
He,
personal thing also, because a personal thing in the sense of it is like the pacing. He said multiple times he knows that it's very deliberately paced in terms of its first half, uh, because again for me he's one of our best directors, and I thought
he's
yeah.
easily one of our best directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
easily.
So I just had like a great time watching it, and I'll see maybe
I
third
too
time.
had.
I don't like it as much, but I don't think I won't, because I was like,
And the choice of making it Tamil and Hindi versions different,
Oh yes,
different,
yes,
different,
yes.
and
yes.
culturally
I would
contextual.
like to see the other version actually. I've only
Can
seen
It's
I
the
out.
Hindi
It's
version.
Tamil?
released
It's
in
out. It's
Netflix.
out. It's
Sure.
Tamil.
Yeah,
It's
it's
Okay.
on
Tamil.
Netflix.
I
Okay.
Yeah,
mean,
watch it.
both the versions are different in the, setting and
Only
cultural setting
Radhika
and
Apte is
everything.
the same one, and Vijay
Yeah,
Radhika
Sethupathi,
Apte?
of
Vijay
course.
Sethupathi.
But
Yeah. Three of them only. They have Vijay
Radhika
Sethupathi
Yeah,
Apte,
only.
yeah,
Yeah.
Radhika Apte is in here. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the dialogues are also not like, translate from Google Translate from Hindi to
so
Tamil.
it's like
No.
a proper like cultural
It's a
Proper
translation
proper
as
cultural
opposed
milieu
cultural.
to.
change. It's
Uh,
proper
Yeah, milieu
milieu
change.
change.
That's
sure.
something you don't see in pan India films too.
Oh God.
हाँ.
Oh
But वो
God.
तो
Let's not
to
bring
be
that
to
term
but no,
again.
but to differentiate, this is a 35 crore film. That those are like 120 to 200 crore films. So it's whatever.
Yes.
Didn't make money, but whatever. Anyways, that is it for our best of 2024 list. I will be making a post. I don't know for which list all the movies we discussed here. Just to have, if people want like a listicle sort of thing, we will have that for you in this week sometime. But I hope you enjoyed our discussion or format of discussion this time, because we were trying to do something different, because otherwise it's always the same sort of format. We hope you watch some of the movies which we've discussed and you've not watched or didn't know about. Or if you have watched these and if you agree or disagree with us, please send us messages, kind ones, civil ones.
Unkind ones भी चलेगा.
No, unkind ones you can sell, but little civil. You can. Some of the comments we get on YouTube, I think, is a bit whatever. But some of them are very nice. Like,
YouTube is halfway down a trash heap anyway. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
we have a live stream tomorrow, Amartya, or today, I should say. But so you don't need to throw shade on the place where we are doing that live stream essentially. But
Yeah.
anyways, if you want to follow Amartya, you can follow him at Amartya 25 on Instagram. If you want to follow Devi, you can follow her at film.trance on trance is TRANCE on Instagram. If you want to follow Adithiyan, you can follow him at Curiouser Curioser Adityan, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
These will all be in the description, so I'm not telling the spelling of these.
Follow all of them.
Um,
Follow all of them. They do far more work than I do. So if you're going
on
to follow
Instagram,
on
you do
Instagram,
work
follow
on
all of
High
them.
on Films,
On
yes.
Yeah.
Instagram, follow all of them. They do
Yeah.
far more work than I do. There, it's like insane,
Follow
amazing
Amartya
work.
on Letterboxd. I will,
Yes.
which I always link in any case. All of these people have Letterboxd. Also, you can follow me at Eternal Cinema if you want to. You can follow at queenisdead.film podcast if you want to. It is somewhat active nowadays, I think. But yeah, we will be coming next with the podcast. I think it's the Stanley Kubrick episode, which we have delayed. So it's
I think
part
so
three of
too.
that, which is a heavy duty episode also. We should stop doing these heavy duty episodes, Amartya. I think yeah, we should take it easy. But anyways, live stream, we are still searching for
We are
topics.
watching movies and taking it easy since when?
No, discussing them is not easy all the
Oh,
time, but okay.
yeah.
Sorry, thoda to sympathy we can ask for. But that's about it for today. I know it's super late. Thank you, Adityan, Devi, and Amartya for sticking by so late. And we had some technical difficulties before, so we couldn't record then. And today also, we almost had a technical difficulty which stopped us from recording. Blame the rains, guys. Blame the rains. But anyways, thank you so much and khatam.